last man standing between them is Julio Rodriguez.
And Rodriguez lifts it into center, right at Dubon, comes in a couple of steps, makes the catch, and that is the ball game. The Houston Astros are headed back to the ALCS as they sweep the Mariners in the division series, winning a thriller 1-0 in 18 innings.
The Mariners, once again, cannot get past the Houston Astros.
If you're only interested in winning and losing, this is the end of the story. 43 seasons, the vast majority of them losing seasons. 3,219 wins, 3,622 losses, 0 championships, 0 World Series appearances. At least some of you will stop watching, and at this point, we don't mind. I mean it, it's really okay. But as far as Alex and I are concerned, it's only now that we've gotten to the entire point of all this. The Seattle Mariners challenge us like no other team. By this, I don't mean that they test our patience, although that's certainly true. I mean that they offer us an opportunity to appreciate sports as something more than endless conquest. They've never won a World Series, but ask yourself honestly, does this look incomplete to you? Far be it from me to tell any lifelong Mariners fan how to feel about any of this, but for the rest of us, what is it truly missing? Is it this? Is this what you want? Is it really? Okay, here, take it all in. There's Randy Johnson, shut out against the Marlins in Game 1 of the World Series. There's Edgar, whose 11th inning single drove in the winning run of Game 4. And A-Rod, who dove around the tag to take a 3-1 series lead. There's Buhner, who came off the bench in Game 5 to crush a pivotal pinch hit double. And there's Junior, who stepped into the box in the bottom of the 9th and delivered a 3-run, championship-clinching walk-off. The Kingdom went crazy. What a moment that was. If that's what you wanted, you got what you wanted. Now, of all these stories, what's your favorite? What's the story you're telling first? If that was the one, you aren't ready for this team yet. The Mariners aren't special on account of their lack of success. It's just that success is entirely irrelevant. We've entered another realm here, one that's far larger and doesn't operate on the dead currency of winning and losing. Unless you let those limits go, you're an astronaut who brought your wallet. The Seattle Mariners are not competitors. They're protagonists. It's true that just weeks later, the Washington Nationals would win a championship, leaving the Seattle Mariners as the only team in Major League Baseball that has never even appeared in a single World Series. But when I watch them say goodbye, and when I watch the Kings Court pour out enough love to last them through whatever comes next, I mean...
The King and his court one final time.
Who gives a shit? What is next? Well, I suppose it's a matter of whether the last 43 years were an accident. Did the Seattle Mariners stumble blindly into the most bizarre stories and fascinating people, generation after generation, purely by chance? Or are there reasons? Are they eccentric because their lack of conquest on the field affords them to be? Are they so geographically remote that the ceaseless march of the normal can't reach them? Do their fans love them so unconditionally that they're allowed to ferment into something so captivating? Are they touched by God? Will they always be like this? Before he vanished forever, nearby resident Roger Smotus, who suggested the name of this team, also supplied an explanation for why he liked the name. I've selected Mariners because of the natural association between the sea and Seattle and her people, who have been challenged and rewarded by it.
City enjoyed it for sure. I know we didn't come out on top, but everything I do it for you guys. Let's do it.
The Seattle Mariners are a franchise marred in disappointment. Many years have gone by, and yet the Seattle Mariners have still yet to reach an ALCS. Yet, they don't feel like losers. They have a history of interesting stories, great players, and success in different ways. From Felix Hernandez to Ichiro to Griffey to Randy Johnson. This team has had a history of great players. At no point, in fact, over the history since Ken Griffey arrived, have they not had a great player on the roster. And I tend to believe that they might have the next great Seattle Mariner on this team as we move into what I'm calling the Great Beyond. The post-Felix Hernandez era, the 2020s and on. And that player, Julio Rodriguez, is the core of what we are building this rebuild around. You see, in different eras, Seattle had different techniques, different strategies, and had different levels of success. The 1990s Seattle Mariners had a super team built around Griffey and A-Rod and Randy Johnson, yet they never could get over the mountaintop. In 2001, they built a fantastic roster surrounded by Ichiro. And yet, despite breaking the record for wins in a season, or tying it, they were unable to reach the top of the mountain. In the 2010s, they had Felix Hernandez, one of the greatest pitchers who almost single-handedly led them to a playoff run, yet they fell just short by one game in 2014. And now, with their postseason drought ended in 2001 in 2022, we find ourselves in a new era of Seattle Mariners baseball. Will this be an era where the championships are going to come? Will this be an era of great memories for Seattle Mariners fans? What is going to happen next? I think that's what we need to focus on. So what is our goal going to be? What are we going to be doing this time in our rebuild? Well, this is going to operate slightly differently and take a little bit of a more narrative lens and follow the Mariners in a different way than we've done in the past. We're not going to do everything we can to win a World Series. No. I think that I could do that. I could sign Juan Soto right now. However, there's a team that does that. The New York Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Mariners aren't that. The Mariners, being the protagonists of baseball and the history that they have sought out in their franchise, designates them a different fate. They need to be the underdogs. They need to be scrappy. We need to win in ways that other teams don't. We need to build around a hero. And that's what Julio Rodriguez is going to be. The hero who is finally going to lead us to the promised land. Felix Hernandez was unable to do it. Ichiro was unable to do it. Griffey was unable to do it. But Julio's our chance. And so, in this rebuild, we are going to attempt to build an entire franchise around our core player, Julio Rodriguez, who thankfully is 23 and already had some great seasons. Julio, being our franchise, at every point must be our greatest player. Our entire offense is going to be built around him. The goal is to make him one of the greatest players of all time. Can he deliver Seattle a ring? I don't know. And is it a failure if he loses? But can we get him to the Hall of Fame? Can we reach the individual accomplishments that other Seattle Mariners have, great Mariners have? I think that we can. And people who have not played MLBTheShow or into the 2040s might not know that Julio does not often make it to the Hall of Fame. He often regresses too early, so this is actually a challenge. What can we do to build around him where he stays the greatest player on the team, but is also in a position where he can get himself MVPs, get himself silver sluggers, Hank Aaron's, get to the 500 home run club. These are all accomplishments we are going for with Julio. What can we accomplish around Julio being our best player? And the Mariners are in a unique situation where we actually have the assets and the ability to do this. They have a phenomenal pitching staff surrounded by Castillo, the older player, and their draft picks Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Wu, and Hancock. All of these pitchers will help us have a fantastic pitching staff surrounding Julio in the position in the outfield. But the lineup is not very good. Besides the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, they don't have much. Ty France, Jorge Polanco, Josh Rojas, JP Crawford, Luke Raley, and Mitch Haniger are the rest of this lineup. It's not great. Thankfully, they have some prospects coming in Cole Young and in Lazaro Montez, and we also have, I believe, Tyler Locklear. So we have some interesting prospects in Harry Ford. But will they be able to support Julio, or are they going to detract from him? So in our drafts, we're going to try to make interesting signings that can help him become one of the greatest players of all time. We are going to do what we can to do this and defeat our enemies along the way. We're not going to be the Yankees. We're not going to go out and sign these top free agents. We're not going to be the Dodgers. We're not going to go out and trade for every great player. Our goal is to beat them. And we will beat them. We will not let them succeed. That's our kind of secondary goal, I guess. Continue Ken Griffey Jr.'s blood feud with Julio Rodriguez at the helm. All right. So that's our goal. That's what we're going to do. Once again, I've gone with a different roster to try to mix it up here. I don't know if this roster is good, to be honest. We're just trying something, and this roster looked interesting, I guess. It worked. And like I've said in the past, for anybody who is not or is new and is watching this for the first time, our rosters that we choose, these random rosters, are done so that I cannot take advantage of them. I want different rosters every week to try to get a different role, get a different possibility. We've seen some crazy seasons from different players in these rebuilds down the road that we don't see in different ones simply because of changing up the rosters. So also, if anybody's watching and it's like, I want to be a part of this, I want to do something. If you make a roster that you think is interesting and that I can, and is really going to throw me off, that's still realistic, because I do want it to still have a sense of realism, please send me that roster. I will use it in the next video that I have not pre-recorded at the time, of course. So thanks so much. We are going to get to the draft, in which we are going to intend to try to build a few more players around Julio. Now, I will also say this team is already a contending team, so we might go and look at some seasons where we're going to take more time in and less time in different seasons. Our offense is probably the worst in the league. I think in real life right now, they are the worst offense in the league. And so that's our goal. If we have to make any trades, we will make trades for offensive players. But we should make something interesting. Julio. 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 All right. See you at the draft. Taking a look at our 2024 draft, we have some interesting prospects that might be available with our first pick. I believe we have pick 15, as the Mariners did not make the playoffs last season. And there's a few interesting players. Sean Chavis is considered to be the 5th ranked prospect in all of this draft. I don't necessarily see it, but I can see the power potential, which is probably where it's coming from. And, you know, he's 18 too, so it'd be interesting because he's a little further off, but he'll be around for a while. Could be an interesting prospect. There's also Fernando Hernandez right here, who I like the contact, the vision, the discipline, his ability to get on base, who is kind of my backup for Chavis as one of the other options. And the last option, who I think is the most sure bet of anybody, is Floyd Zinn, who is a first baseman, contact vision discipline. He might honestly be my favorite pick. I just don't think, I think there's a chance he's going to get drafted early. I don't know why he's only considered 29th, being a 4-year senior, 89 to 94 potential, already a 64 to 69 overall, and the stats that he has, like on base machine is what he says, and he's got good fielding ratings too. Like this looks like a future first baseman. Floyd Zinn is probably the pick. Now, if you see this, Sean Chavis might end up being the better player here. So I do want to say Chavis might end up being the better player. He's also a switch hitter. But I do like this idea of Floyd Zinn because he's a safe pick and could be really interesting alongside Julio as a guy who gets on base. So we're going to get into this draft. Hopefully, one of those guys falls to us with our first pick. The Guardians take Freddie Bellamy, a center fielder, who I did not scout. This is Washington? I feel like I've done, that's the Reds. Yusniel Hernandez, a starting pitcher. And with the third pick, the Colorado Rockies take Wesley Merrifield, a starting pitcher. So I'm hoping that one of these three lasts to 15. My preferable one would be Floyd Zinn. They all lasted. I think what we're going to do is we are going to go with Zinn. I do think he's the safest bet. So I wanted to show you all those because I wanted you to see, like, okay, which one of these prospects do you think is best? Technically, it does believe Chavez is the best. He's from Ohio, but I don't know. I like this guy. He's a low injury risk. He's a very interesting giant first baseman. I want to take Floyd Zinn with our first overall pick here. He's a little older, but I think that's okay considering what we're trying to build around. All right, with pick 2 here, there are a few interesting players. Now, I didn't scout a whole lot of guys. We went position heavy. This is a player who I want to draft a little bit later. I hope he's still around because I like the contact and discipline, but he doesn't have a lot of potential, so he could end up just being a bust. So I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to go with either Julio Garcia or TJ Dixon. I think Dixon is probably the more interesting prospect. But I think, you know what? No, we're going to go Garcia. We have an outfielder. We have some outfield prospects. We're going to take Julio Garcia at third. And Kobayashi's gone. No. All right. So Kobayashi is gone now. So I am going to take another one of these not ranked first basemen. I don't like Armas as much, but I think we're going to take him. And this will be the last one I show you, third round. We only have 6 picks this draft, no extra picks this year, and it wasn't necessarily a perfect class. So we'll see what we can get. I'll show you our results after the draft. Taking a look at our draft picks, I think we made the right picks here. We went with Floyd Zinn here at first, who I think is the most all-around guy we could have got. He seems like a guy who's going to be just getting on base a ton. He's a little older. I don't think I mind that, and his fielding stats are actually still very, very good. Could be an interesting defensive first baseman, too. He has no secondary position, sadly, so he will only play first, but I like the ability to get on base, and I see the same thing from Julio Garcia, who's a little further away, plays third base. He's not as good defensively, but these two guys could be interesting players to get on base, which is very important to me, simply because I think that the way to get Julio a MVP would be to get guys on base ahead of him, because I think the game values RBIs a lot. And so we want guys who get on base ahead of him so he can hit home runs and get RBIs to be able to get those guys in. I took this Mario Mendoza guy who his hits per 9 are good, his walks per 9 are good, and he's an 89 potential reliever. This dude could end up being an absolute ace closer out of the bullpen if we need him. Just knowing the stats that are valuable in the bullpen, this guy has them. Now his clutch rating is not good, so he's going to take a little time to get there, but I like him. Armas, nah, kind of a miss there. And then Geronimo was a decent pick. He's further away. He's 21. He probably won't be here till he's 28, 29, but so he might just be a trade piece too. And then Rincon was also one of those guys who's got good walks per 9. We are first in the division at 67-44. I made no trades because Interestingly enough, if I look at our team rankings, offensively, we're 5th. Our offense is doing very, very well this season, led by Josh Rojas in the leadoff spot has been phenomenal, and Julio sitting in 3rd is also very, very good. We've got, just a pretty powerful offense this year. And so I didn't see the need to make any moves. There was really nobody on the block that made a lot of sense. We're number 1 in on base percentage. The worst thing is our bullpen. Our bullpen is struggling a little bit, but I didn't see any moves that made sense that I wouldn't have to trade a lot to get. So we are going to roll with this team. I think this team has a shot this year. We should hopefully make the playoffs. I think wild card at least has a huge gap here in the AL. So we should be a good team heading for at least a wild card, hopefully a division title, and we'll see if we can win one in 2024, led by Josh Rojas of all people. 94-68, we will be a wild card team making the playoffs and playing the Rays in the first round of the playoffs. Sadly, Texas absolutely took off this season and ended up getting up to 102 wins. They had a crazy second half after we had a lead, and it put us in the wild card race. We easily won the wild card race, thankfully, but that doesn't give us a good advantage knowing that we have to play Tampa in the first round. We had no award winners this season. No Julio there. I think Castillo was in the Cy Young race for a while, but I think, like, looking at the players who won it, I hate that Shohei won it. Conforto was running, and I wanted Conforto to win it because I thought that would have been cool. But we had some players in the running. Rojas was in the running for batting title for a while. But yeah, no awards across the entire team. So, and no league leaders either. Even though we did have Julio and Rojas hitting over 300 this season, just not enough, and that's okay. I didn't see necessarily the amount of homers I wanted to see from Julio, who did not break the top 10 in home runs this year. And looking at our pitching rotation first, we had great pitching. Castillo was good. Kirby was great. Gilbert wasn't necessarily that good, but like we had some great pitching. Bullpen ended up picking up in the second half, so even though we didn't make the trades, they picked it up. The one that I needed to check, because I did have Bowman up, he pitched 129, and Bauman 399. So this was our worst bullpen arm, who struggled a little bit, because I think Hancock wasn't actually up at any point. So good pitching from this team this year, as kind of expected. We have a very good pitching rotation. They send anybody down? Doesn't look like it. So taking a look at the lineup, first the bench. Decent seasons from just about everybody here. Robles was very, very good as a bench utility outfielder. And Sebi Zavala, also interesting. Like, you know, we had some good contact guys from there. Rojas was a great leadoff. He had 20 home runs, 300, had 169 hits. Was not expecting this type of production from Josh Rojas, but I will take it. He just got on base a lot, and you love to see that. Crawford was... Said he won an award. Oh, no, he has not won one yet this season. But 18 home runs, decent season from him. Got on base a lot. That's what you want to see. Not as good as it was the year before, but also stole 22 bases. So good to see. We will come back to Julio. Raleigh with 19 home runs, 261. Rayleigh had a great season taking over this left field spot, and I think that he can kind of keep it for a little while, as he's been really, really good this year. Hit 284, 25 home runs, 340 on base. France got on base a good amount. He was also the lefty guy, and I like to have him because I know he's very good at getting on base. The question is how much value he really brings. Do you think that he's worth $6.8 million as an arbitration guy? I think we're going to non-tender him and then bring him back for cheaper, because I don't think he's worth $6.8 million. And yeah, so we had good production from everybody. This was Julio's season. I do want to see more power from him. 24 home runs, and he was actually sitting at like 15 before the last month. So he really heated up in the last month for home runs. He was not necessarily hitting for a lot of power this season. Got a lot of doubles, and he didn't play as many games as I would have liked. I think one thing I need to do, and this is just a productivity question, is like I think I need to get rid of center fielders, or other center fielders like Robles, even though Robles was good for us, simply because the way to get more production is to make sure he plays more games. And he didn't play as many. I want him to play 150 plus games. I want him to play 162 games, preferably, but I don't think he can. But yeah, not like OPS 900, but I want to see more power. I want to see more power from him this upcoming season. He got a lot of doubles though, so he still had a very, very good season. He had a 6.9 WAR season, so fantastic year from Julio. I just want to see a little bit more if we're going to try to compare him to some all-time greats like Griffey. So first game in the postseason, I think I'm just going to keep Hancock up, and we're just going to go straight to the playoffs here, where we're going to play Tampa in round 1. And we're going to go Castillo, Kirby, and then Gilbert to start off. So game 1, Castillo versus Kirby. We get a 1-0 win. Not a lot of offensive production, only getting 6 hits, scoring a run in the first, thanks to a home run by JP Crawford. In game 2, Kirby versus Pepio. That's a 1-6 loss, as once again, we still don't have a lot of offensive production. It's kind of scary, especially after having a very good offensive season. And then we lose in game 3 here. Ryan Stanek. Okay, can I look at the box score? Okay, so he must have given up the 2 runs in the... yikes. So he gave up in the bullpen. I did talk earlier in the season about the bullpen being weak, and it looks like that came back to bite us, as the bullpen did not produce very, very well in this playoff run. So we will sim the rest of our postseason. And the Phillies defeat the Yankees. Good. Yankees do not win one. Though they make it, they do not win one. As we continue our blood feud. So, award winners, World Series MVP goes to Bryce Harper as they finally get their World Series. Judge with the postseason MVP on this side, and Harper over here. Harper dominated this postseason. So, Phillies win the 2024 World Series, and we will go to the offseason. We are going to non-tender Ty France. And then we will look for probably maybe a bullpen arm to add, and then we'll see if there's any interesting free agents kind of in the lower tier to get some production, maybe as a infielder. I don't know. We'll see what we can find. Entering the 2025 season, I think I've got a few interesting moves that I made in regards to the lineup that I believe could help us potentially get another wild card and maybe make another playoff run. Now, we didn't make a lot of big moves. Obviously, I feel like we have some cap space to do, but not cap space, but budget space to make some large moves, but I didn't necessarily like what was available in the first free agent class. So pitching rotation, we really made no significant changes. I just got Tristan Beck off of the Rule 5 draft to bring him in to our bullpen. I let a lot of the other guys go. There were interesting relievers, but I figured let's just save our money, because I wasn't going to go and get Tanner Scott again. Lineup-wise, we made a few changes. We did lose Ty France. I wanted to non-tender him and then sign him to a longer-term, cheaper deal. And I don't remember what team signed him, but they paid him $7 million a year. And I was like, nope, he's not worth $7 million to me. So we lost Ty France. And in that, we also lost Victor Robles too. So I went and made a few moves. JD Martinez as a DH, I think, is a good replacement to end up getting a little bit more power. I don't know if he's really on base much, but interesting power for us in order to get that. And first base, we made 2 moves. We signed Seth Beer out of the Rule 5. I like Seth Beer. I like playing with him in the game. I like his swing a lot. But I don't know if he's actually going to be valuable for us. And then I also brought in John Singleton off of waivers. I just think it's interesting to get a guy who is considered a bust. Cool story in John Singleton, and if we can turn him into being some power this season, I'd love to see it. I don't know how much room he has for improvement, but people who know about Singleton knows that he got suspended in 2015 and then has not really been good, but put up a decent season off the bench for them last year. And I just kind of want to see if we can get some power from him off our bench. And the last move we made was we brought in Mickey Moniak. This was a longer term deal. I like the idea of redeeming some guys, do some interesting storylines. So if Mickey Moniak is somebody who we can redeem and make interesting, I want to do that. And so we brought him in for actually pretty long term. I thought that he has a chance of being really interesting. maybe just even as a righty platoon, which is okay, I guess, to be like a righty platoon outfielder, especially knowing that we have, some older guys out here in the outfield like Haniger. So it could be interesting down the road. He's just going to be a bench bat for us this season, but we'll see what he ends up being. We did also give an extension to, I think, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert. I signed him long-term, I think $105 million, 8 years. I just wanted to lock him up now while he was still $13 million a year, because I figure at some point Kirby, Miller, and Castillo will all come available around the same time, and they're going to be expensive. And we're going to have to pay them. We also, looking at our budget, have a lot of deals expiring this upcoming year. So Haniger will be gone, Garver will be gone, Polanco will be gone, and then JD is a club option, and Dylan Moore will be gone. So we're going to have a lot of money to spend this upcoming offseason, and we will spend it. I intend on spending our cash next offseason, where I think that there will be some shots to get some interesting players. However, we're still in 2025. So let's go through this season, see what we can end up doing, see if Julio can improve a little bit in the power department, and maybe fight for an MVP for himself while we try to get a division title and to win a playoff series as well. So see you at the draft, unless I make a trade beforehand. I do want to show we're almost halfway through the season. We are entering June right now, and JD Martinez already has 21 home runs, is hitting over 300. This has been a phenomenal free agent signing for us this year, and has gave us the division lead right now, as JD has been carrying this team this season. Though Cal Raleigh and Julio have also been very, very good this year, and he's not in the Cy Young race, but Castillo has also been very, very good as a ace right now for us. So we're currently leading the division, but you can see Texas is Texas. They're still very good. So hopefully we can pull out the division. I'll still see you at the draft. I just wanted to show you how JD was doing, and this is kind of crazy from him right now. So we have pick 21 in this draft after making the playoffs in the wild card last year, and looking at the prospects that I've scouted, there's no for sure thing like there was last year with Zinn, and because of that, we might go pitcher, simply because I do think that that's always a safe pick. A good pitcher, a valuable pitcher is always nice to have. So Steven Sierra is a guy who I look at as a very safe pick at the top end, because I'm not necessarily certain I like any of these position players that I think we could put around them. Now, we have not valued pitching because we have so much pitching in our system, but there are some still interesting guys. Miguel Campillo, who could be around with our second pick. I like the third base, first base versatility, but he doesn't have a whole lot of interesting things. Phil Jack is actually a nice kind of for sure thing, and we could go with him. He seems pretty average across the board, though. He's got really nothing special, and because of that, could he really be something? I don't know. Maybe he's just a safe pick that I like. Maybe this is the guy we go with. And then I also like this Brian Kuo guy for the same reason. So we're gonna look. All right, Asuncion, Campillo, Jack, Kuo are all interesting, but I think there's a chance if Steven Sierra is still there at pick 21, I might just take him. Now I don't necessarily know what I want yet. I kind of want to see how this draft goes because I think we can spend some time waiting in the next several seasons, where we could go one season and just draft a full load of pitching and completely restock our farm system of pitching. Though not like we really need to. We've got a lot of the guys locked up long term. Oh, Roddell. I can't believe he went that early. This guy was really interesting. I scouted him fully because he's a 6'5" second baseman, and had pretty interesting contact stats. But let's take a look at what we get. So, Asuncion goes, and Sierra's still there. Campillo's there, Jack's there. Now that I think about it, I think it might be best to go with Phil Jack over Steven Sierra, because he is pretty much a lock, guaranteed thing. He's a fast outfielder. And not like we need a lot of outfielders, but I like to see for sure things, though. Darryl Rivera He's also very, very nice at first. Though we don't need another first baseman. I think we're going to go with Phil Jack for our first pick. And Steven Sierra's gone. But look, Campillo's still there and Kuo is still there. So I think we made an okay pick here. We're going to take Campillo with this next pick because he is still available on the board. Did not think he was going to last to us there with our second pick. And Kuo is still here with our third pick. So the guys that we all kind of valued, I'm going to take all three of them. So I got three of the four of the four guys I really wanted in this class. So, or three of the five. So honestly, fantastic draft so far. I hope at least we will show you at the end what we ended up getting. Lane Thomas is on the trade block for the last place Nationals, and he's on an expiring deal. So I think we're going to make a move for it. We are having some injuries out in the outfield. We've lost Canzoni. We've lost Moniak. Moniak tore his ACL. He's out for the season. Rayleigh's been bad. Basically, the other outfield spots have been pretty weak. Even Haniger has not been good. We haven't really seen much production there. So we're going to bring Lane Thomas for Luis Suspel and Colin Davis, who are both doing very, very well in the minors right now. Colin Davis isn't very good as a prospect, but Suspel could make this instantly. I just feel like we would give a little bit more for the expiring deal of Lane Thomas as we attempt to go and win our division, as we've slipped a little bit due to the injuries down back to the wild card race. So Lane Thomas will be our free agent signing of our trade deadline move of 2025. So based on the color blue, I think we did very, very well in this draft, and we got a lot of the guys that I wanted and all the guys that I had on the board too. So Phil Jack, more power, honestly, than I was even expecting him to have. And I love to see that because that means that he can be a nice power guy when we've got more contact guys and Phil Zinn, who we've signed. So he can be a very interesting bat to kind of for the future. I know he's a little older. He's 22, but so is Zinn. And that kind of adds to a little bit of our system of having some power there. Campillo is more contact and clutch. I like that. And he's 18, so he's got further to go. And he's 87 potential. So nice to see there. Kuo, I mean, yeah, phenomenal right there from him. 86 potential, more speed. He's further away, but I'd like to see an 18-year-old with that kind of potential. Ruben Lyons, same way, and he's more contact based, so he's really far away. But he was just a find. He was a discovery find, so I'd like to see that. The Henry Tejada we got as well, 92 potential. And the stats that he has are hits per 9 and walks per 9. This dude could be an absolute stud in the rotation when he gets up to the majors. It'll be several seasons, but man, is he going to be good. And Henry Kim was injured. So he fell a little bit, but he was also a discovery find from South Korea. So we brought in two South Korean players this season, and he also has potential to be really good. So it could be really interesting if we bring in Kuo and Kim, and we have two South Korean prospects to add to this team. I really like what we did there in this draft. Honestly, I didn't think that we had a lot of really good prospects, but I liked what I saw. Like I said, we slipped a little due to injuries, so we are right now running in the wild card race for this. And while our pitching looks good on paper, it has not necessarily performed very well. And team rankings wise, our bats have slipped. We have fallen down to 18th. We had a very good production last year from a lot of guys, but it has not been. And you don't see Julio in the top 3 because he has not been good this year. And that kind of disappoints me because we're building the team around him. Now he does get in a lot, and you can see he's already up to a 96 overall. So I just need to see more production from him. We're 7th in home runs, thankfully, as we are getting some of the power back from him. And JD has, been phenomenal this season. Oh, Shohei's got 41. But want to see a little more. Hopefully we can make a run for the playoffs here, and that Lane Thomas as a signing can kind of help us get there as we go to the end of the season and attempt to win the division for the first time since 2001, I want to say. I don't think they've won the division in their 2 playoff runs. And just like that, at 91 and 71, we will end up winning the wild card once again. No division title for us, still waiting on that. So this is not yet our first division title, but Julio now has led us to 3 playoffs, which is a very good thing to see as he's a core element to this team. We do have an award winner this year. It is JD Martinez winning the MVP award with 48 home runs and 130 RBIs. I don't really think he deserves it. Soto probably deserves it, but I mean, you also got to think, you bring in a free agent. They do absolutely phenomenal. Like look at this season. So he goes from 34 to 48 home runs as he goes into his age 37 season. Yeah, I think we're going to bring him back next year on this option if he's going to play this well, and he will be our DH next year too, because that is a fantastic season for him. A 4.7 WAR season too for him. So MVP year from him. McClanahan gets the Cy Young. On the other side, it's Shohei again. Yelich 303. Runner up for MVP. Yelich is back. McClanahan, Spencer Strider wins the Cy Young on that side. Batting title goes to Yandy Diaz and Bryce Harper over there. We really didn't have much else. I mean, you obviously get the Silver Sluggers that you're going to get from our man. Julio gets a Gold Glove. Good to see that. As he has 1,000 fielding percentage, made no errors. Only him and Varsho did that. JD gets the DH, Silver Slugger, and I believe Julio gets himself a Silver Slugger over here as well. So league leaders, Gilbert, and Kirby, and then JD Martinez leading the league in home runs and RBIs this season. Absolutely phenomenal season from him. So just to take a quick look at our pitching rotation. Kirby, another fantastic season from him with a 2.96 ERA. Last year he had a 2.59, 2.96 this year. Still pretty good. We just need to get these wins for them. And our offense deteriorated to a level of like, we need to make some actual like signings this offseason, because I didn't see the production from the guys that would help our guys get there. Brash was not good. Hancock was not good, and Munoz lost the closer position. He was so bad. 8 blown saves, 4.95, 4.97. Gregory Santos was pretty good, but yeah, bullpen was not good this season. Our pitching kind of regressed. And then lineup wise, on the bench first, let's go look at the guys that we brought here. So Seth Beer, honestly not that bad as a first baseman, but he did lose his spot as our first baseman partially through the season, simply because we had another guy who I thought took the spot and did better. Haniger, bad season. He's done. He was here for a long time, and shout out to Mitch Haniger, but I think that's the end for him. He had a great season last season with 21 home runs, but yeah, he's done here. Dominic Canzone was not that bad. 255, 12 home runs. Honestly, he's all right. Renewable contract, so he'll be fine. And then I think they sent down, Haggerty. They sent down, who was still all right as a platoon second baseman. And contract wise, we still have one more year of him, so we'll keep him around. And Marlowe. Very, very good as a bench bat. Only played 14 games, but I like continuously bringing him back up. He's been very, very good for us in the time that he has. In the actual lineup, though, Dylan Moore was rough as our bench bat. Rayleigh was really bad this season. He regressed to a point of, like, I don't think I'm going to bring him back on arbitration. I don't really see a value in bringing him back. Thought he would get, looked like our left fielder for the future there, but not for the future, but for the next several years. But I don't see it from him. We'll probably just let him walk in free agency, and then we'll see. Well, actually, does he have a renewable? No, he's arbitration. We'll just let him walk, and we'll see what we can do instead. Rojas, still a good season as our leadoff. He had a 366 on base. I like him a lot. He will continuously stay our leadoff guy. Julio found the power. You can see his power ratings go up. He's a 98 overall already for us. 35 home runs, 12 triples, his average went down from last year. His on base went down, but his slugging went up. So I was seeing less hits from him. I want to see more hits. So like I said, I want to see more games too. Yeah, and then obviously the Gold Glove means 7.9 WAR for him. This is a fantastic year for Julio Rodriguez. Cal Raleigh started off really hot this season, but you can see some regression here from him as he did not necessarily keep that up. 250, but still got on base a lot. I'm just saying, like, from a perspective of I want this guy to end up being like the guy for us. Mitch Garver, decent bench bat. 21 home runs for Lane Thomas, who came in. Wasn't as good in the second half of the season, but honestly, Hopefully he can help us make this playoff run. Crawford was not very good this year, but he is still at least gets on base. We have one more year under his contract. JD was the MVP this year with 289 average, 48 home runs. Polanco was the platoon bat who honestly got on base a lot, and I like to see it. So we have this is the last year with Polanco. I might bring him back. And then John Singleton was our waiver wire pickup. I know he wasn't necessarily here, but he hit 16 home runs, and that's okay for me for a first baseman to get some power, who slugged pretty well in his redemption arc for us. So I'm going to make some adjustments to the lineup, make sure I bring the right guys up for the playoff run, which we have to play Baltimore in the wild card round, and hopefully we can get ourselves our first run this time and actually make it to the ALDS like they did back in 2021. No, 2, right? 22. Yes, 2022. So starting the playoffs for the 2025 season, we have Kyle Bradish versus Luis Castillo in game 1 here. In game 1, we are going to get another fantastic outing from Luis Castillo, who at least gets some offense behind him, as he has been phenomenal in our 2 playoff appearances for him so far. Kirby versus Grayson Rodriguez in game 2 is a 3-4 loss, which seems like we lost in the 8th inning. Our bullpen arms once again coming to hurt us, as Josh Rojas played well, but was not enough as our bullpen let us down. Logan Gilbert versus John Means, and we get absolutely crushed in this game, as we give up 10 runs to them, including a 3-run home run for Westberg, a 2-run home run for Holiday, a 2-run for Colton Cowser, and a 3-run home run for Ryan O'Hearn. Yeah, that's a rough way to go out. And we once again do not make it out of the wild card for the rest of the postseason. The Brewers defeat the Rays in the 2025 World Series. I love to see it. Jackson Chourio wins the World Series MVP. Yandy Diaz on this side, and Chourio with the postseason MVP. That is 2 of the teams that have never won. So now the Brewers have won their first ever World Series, leaving us, the Rays, the Rockies, and the Padres, I believe, to be the final teams who have never won a World Series. We still have yet to beat a one. So hopefully this offseason we'll find some good free agents. We can make a run at also the division title, because I feel like we need one of those. We haven't had one since from 2001. So this will be 25 years if we can finally get to this one this upcoming season. Starting the 2026 season, I think we're actually in a very good spot to finally maybe contend to win this division. It is a 25-year drought, and I think we actually have a good shot this season, and the reason for that is a lot of our competition is growing pretty old. The Rangers have a very old pitching staff, and the Astros are just old in general. Now, the Rangers did sign Vladimir Guerrero, and the Athletics now have Bo Bichette and Juan Soto, so it's not going to be easy per se. But I do think that we're in a really good spot because I did make a few moves. Now, pitching rotation is going to be basically the same. I just went out and got Dylan Coleman as a Rule 5 signing because I thought he might have a shot to do something. I might just cut him too because he might not actually be worth it. When it comes to the lineup, though, I did make a few moves. I did not bring back Jorge Polanco. I thought I was going to. Didn't really make sense to. And we did not bring back Luke Raley. But we brought in Luis Arias. I know I bring him in a lot. I love him as a bat, and he's exactly perfect for what we need to do to help Julio out. He is not going to be the leadoff because I want to continue to give that to Josh Rojas because he's been really, really good in that role. But with Rojas and Luis Arias at the top of the lineup, that should end up giving us guys that are going to be on base for Julio, who should be able to actually hit guys in now and get more RBIs. So, you know, he's got good power. He should be able to get Arias in, who does not have power, meaning I don't think Arias is going to hit Rojas in as much as we were getting from Crawford, who is dealing with a lot more power. So we also brought back JD Martinez, last year's MVP, and Cal Raleigh's back. And the other signing I went out and made was I brought in Jerks and Profar. Now, basically the reason I brought him in is Jorge Polanco was going to be our, platoon second baseman to hit righties, and he was asking for $4 million a year. Well, Profar was worth, as you can see by his contract, $4.3 million per year, and he's a more of a utility bat and can play every position. And so I was thinking, hey, let's bring in a utility bat in Jerks and Profar. We have basically the other guys that we have. I brought back Lane Thomas for 3 seasons, just because I thought it was worth it. There was not a lot of free agents besides the top end, like the Blue Jays guys. So brought back Lane Thomas to play the other outfield spot, which leaves the last outfield position in left to be split between Moniak and Canzone. I like that as an idea. Crawford and Haggerty will be, probably hitting lefties, and then Harry Ford is now going to be our backup catcher. This will also leave room so that when Profar's contract's up, when Lane Thomas's contract is up, we should actually be able to bring in and bring up Clase, Farmelo. I can't see their other outfielders. I like a lot of the guys that we have, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of the prospects that are right here. Farmelo, Clase, Lazaro Montes, and Alberto Rodriguez. I like all 4 of these guys. I don't know which guy's going to take the spot. We're going to leave them here for this season. I think if I look at like Farmelo, they have 2 out of 3 used. Clase, 3 out of 3. So Clase will be up next season. Montes is at 0 out of 3 used. He is not on the 40-man yet. And then Rodriguez is at 2 out of 3 used. So they could come up this season. Clase will definitely be up next season. So kind of we're leaving room in case Moniak and Canzone aren't that good this season. I hope that they are. But anyways, I think the team's in a good spot. We're going to roll with Singleton at first base as well for 1 more season. And then that's when like Zinn should be able to come up, or Locklear should be able to come up. So we're leaving ourselves room to bring our guys up. Rangers are going to be tough. Hopefully we can get another at least wild card. And I think we can get ourselves the first division title in 25 years. Julio, lead us to the promised land, and get yourself an MVP, dude, or at least in the MVP race. See you at the draft. Red Sox are in last place in the entire AL right now, and our bullpen is so bad. So I'm going to call for the last year's reliever of the year, Bernardino. He's still pitching at a .79 ERA. I know it's not a lot of innings, so it's a pretty small sample size, but I just need something. So we're going to give him Samad Taylor and Spencer Packard, 2 guys that I don't think will make our team long term. And he's got what? I mean, he's arbitration, so we could possibly bring him back as well. So just a bullpen arm that would just be nice to have, as he's 34, probably has 2 years left in him. And in order to make that room in the bullpen, I'm going to trade Matt Brash. I know Mariners fans are probably going to look at this and say, doesn't make a lot of sense. However, he's 27. He has a lot of talent, like velocity break. Dude has a fantastic arsenal, but he is just not performing for me. And I know I could just be patient and say, hey, let's wait him out. He should end up being good. I honestly don't really see a path for him to be a top-end reliever for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade him to the Brewers, who do not have a reliever because Devin Williams signed with the Dodgers. And we're going to get Frank Grieve, a relieving prospect, and Reggie Loftus, a third base prospect. 2 guys that I like, and I think it would help them have a bullpen as they fight for their 4th straight division title. And Brash just doesn't really fit, honestly, on this team anymore. So Brash out and Bernardino in. Starting the 2026 draft, there's a lot of prospects in this class that I really like. The problem is I only have 1 first and 1 second, meaning I'm not going to get them all. We got really lucky with our picks last season, and I don't think we're going to get that kind of luck again this year. And where I see it is I do think we need a long-term closer. I don't think Andres Munoz is going to be able to stay. He's just been really bad for us, and so a long-term closer like Johnny Wheat could be interesting. I'm not going to take him with the first. He would be a second round pick. But there are a couple really interesting players here. There's Will Cabrera, who I think is an all-around guy, who's a top-end guy who's at 21. This is probably the best prospect in the class, in my opinion, just based on the potential being 88 to 98. Like, this guy's going to be good. The question is, how long can I wait for him? And, you know, it's going to take a bit. He's going to take a while to develop, but how long can I wait for him? Doug O'Leary, how long can I wait for him? And there's a few other guys down here too, like Todd Ruiz. Looks very good. I don't need a catcher, but I love how he's designed. Like, I love the contact stats. I love the fielding stats. I love what this guy could end up being. So there's a lot of players like that in this class where I look at him like, all right, I like what you could be, but do I want to take you early? How long can I wait? That's the question in this class. Michael McLean goes number 1. He must have been generational or something like that. I'm going to take a look at him once we actually see him, because the Marlins, they kept talking about on the bottom ticker, every time I looked at a game, they would come in and say that he was guaranteed to be the number 1 pick. So, first off, let's check. Any of our guys go. None of the closers went. Cesar Valito is still there. Casto is still here. The question is, which guy do I go with? I don't really need a catcher because we have Harry Ford and Cal Raleigh. We could use a shortstop, but we could wait on that. And there's a few other positions that I think are interesting. So maybe we hold off. We don't take the catcher, Todd Ruiz. So do we go with Cesar Valito, who was like a lock, but we could wait a little bit longer? Do we go with a defensive second baseman, or do we just go Doug O'Leary, who might just be one of the best prospects here? I also see a lot here from Alberto Casto, though I didn't fully scout him. So we're kind of in an interesting spot where I think the best thing to do is not take the risk. I think what we do is we go... No, he's too far away. He's too far away. I think we're going to go just take a look, make sure at team rank, see what other guys are still here. See if there's anybody who I didn't put on my board. There's Jorge Alonso, top end pitcher, a reliever, and then this second baseman, who's also pretty far away. And so this catcher who's even better. You know what? We're gonna take a different swing. We're gonna go for Steve Bullington because I like the contact and the defense, and I obviously did not think he was still gonna be there since I didn't pin him. And that leaves Cesar Valito for this next pick. Yeah. And with the next pick, Doug O'Leary. And now I choose between Sean Wog and Alex Pena. I think we go Sean Wog. Alex Pena. And then which reliever do I like more? Champlin Timolo or Todd K? I don't like either of them. I think, though, Todd K is the safer pick. So I think we're just going to go with Todd K. And, yeah, that guy's never going to be good. But safer pick. So that's our draft. I know I showed the whole thing. I haven't showed the whole thing in a while, but maybe we did good. Our team's not good this season. We had some injuries and people are really underperforming this year, but you know, we might still make a wild card. Talk about a miss. 78 potential. I mean, at least he's close, right? At least he's close. He's 71 overall already. He'll be up soon, but kind of a miss here on Steve Bullington. Doesn't really look like a guy who could be much more than a backup catcher. And at that, like, I mean, dude, he's also a Dave Dorman, like, regen here. I like that at least. The contact and the fielding is good. He will be a backup catcher, but do we need that? We've got Rowley. We've got Harry Ford, and at least he can play first as well. But I mean, we've got guys coming up that can do that. Now the rest of the picks, Cesar Valito, Doug O'Leary, those were fantastic picks. These guys 94 and 93 potential respectively, like studs. I knew they would be. So I'm glad that I could get both of those in the second and the third. Just kind of feel like we missed on Bullington. We're going to take a quick look around the league too, and see who else was signed and see what we missed on. I like to feel the pain of my mistakes, so that way I am fully aware of what I could have done and learn from them. Sean Wog, not bad, 83 potential, like to see it. Pena wasn't that good. Honestly though, look at him. He's basically just further away Steve Bullington. Though, never mind. He's nothing like Steve Bullington, but similar potential. And Todd K. Honestly, not bad at all. He's nowhere near being reliever. This will take him 6-7 years before he comes up, but I like him. All right, so first off, we need to go find a few teams and look at some of the guys that we got. So this is Michael McLean. He was not a generational prospect, though he was very good. 91 potential at that. Oh, wow. That first baseman, Felix Hernandez. Not the real Felix Hernandez. But Felix Hernandez is really good. Really good. That is a crazy first baseman. Steve Spanos was good. Alberto Casta was the 81, so honestly not too mad. I think that Casta was better than Bullington, but also at a less valuable position, knowing that we were going to get Valito. Great pitcher there for them. They didn't get their starter. Todd Ruiz was very good. So Ruiz would have been a better pick than Bullington. Interesting. Rosa wasn't that good. Cook, Silva. Cabrera was decent. Good lefty platoon, it looks like. And then I wanted to see what that closer was. Oh, Roberto Pena. Very good. Must have been injured if they lost him. So where is that closer that we didn't get? Not VR. That was not the guy. It was a different guy. Johnny Wheat. Okay. Johnny Wheat was 82 potential. I'm not that mad at that then. Okay. So, yeah, we made the wrong pick. But honestly, it didn't come back to bite us that badly. He'll still be serviceable. And with Valito and O'Leary being as good as they are down the road, you love to see what we have. Like, we are building up an extremely young core of young prospects that are nowhere near the majors. But will be good in about the 2030s when Julio starts to regress as well. So, not a bad season or draft. Now, we're 60 and 50. We're in the wild card race. The Rangers easily have taken this division. I don't see us getting into this. However, wild card, we should have a very good shot at making another wild card run. The problem has just been, honestly, the bullpen and our offense. We've had injuries. You can see that JD is down here. He only has 9 home runs. He's been bad. I brought Seth Beer up. He's hitting 293. Singleton's hitting 283. So some of these guys have been really, really good for us. Julio is having his best season yet. And Arias has hit 20 home runs, which I said that I brought him in so that he wouldn't hit home runs. Yet he has found his power here in Seattle. Bench bats have been bad. So I think we're in a position where hopefully we can make a wild card. I like the top of our lineup: Rojas, Arias, Julio, Raleigh. And I think that Profar and a couple of the other guys have been good. But I don't know if we have the depth in the bullpen and the consistency to really make a playoff run this year in 2026. And honestly, it sucks because I don't see us winning the division either. But maybe Julio can continue to put together a really good season and get himself in the MVP race. 88 and 74, we are a wild card team for the 3rd straight season, playing the Astros in the first round. Decent season. Obviously, could have been better. We were hoping for a division title. The Rangers honestly dominated, and we had a down year this year. So it's not what you want to see. Thankfully, we are the 2 So we do just get to play the Astros in this playoff run. So kind of sucks. Award winners, Yordan Alvarez is the MVP on the AL side. Christian Yelich wins the MVP on the NL side. Sorry, I'm a Brewers fan. 2026 MVP Christian Yelich, who hit 45 home runs. So Christian Yelich wins the MVP on the NL side. Cy Young goes to Scooball. Bryce Miller was second in the Cy Young, so that's decent. I mean, he was never going to get a shot to win it with how crazy good Scooball was this year. And looking at the MVP, like you see Riley Green here, who was runner-up in the batting title as well. So Tigers are good. Rookie of the year, I think basically let's just go check our Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers. Runner-up for Silver Slugger for Raleigh and a Silver Slugger for Julio. Taking a look at league leaders, George Kirby with whip, a 1.0 whip. Taking a look at hits, Nathaniel Lowe had 214 hits this season. He did play every game. This is something that I do need to get Julio to play every game, because right now he played 151. He's getting more and more, and you can see he's getting more opportunities to get hits. And I think that's the thing, is like, look at the amount of extra base hits he had. 47, 39, like his slugging is over 600. He almost has he's getting close to a 1. OPS, 8.7 WAR this season. So like he's getting close. I need him to play a couple more games. If I can get him to play 162, we're in. Like we're in. In order to do that, I need to make sure that I don't have any other center fielders. So we will see what we can do in regards to the rest of our lineup. Now, Julio was at least finally top 10 in home runs. But yeah, we didn't, not a crazy season from us here, from everybody. If I go take a look around at our rotation, we did have a great season for Bryce Miller, another great, below 3 ERA for George Kirby, who has just been phenomenal every season. Castillo's starting to look a little bit worse. I think he's getting a little old here. And Miller, like I said, runner-up in the Cy Young. Wu wasn't that great. Hancock wasn't that great. The bullpen was rough. I brought in Bernardino, and he brought down to a 3.1. I do want to go check Milwaukee because we traded Matt Brash. How did he do over there? I just want to feel my pain if I made a mistake. Matt Brash. Okay, he wasn't that good for them. So I'm not that upset with it. I think we did okay. So taking a look at our actual lineup then, they sent everybody down. Seth Beer went down despite hitting 289 with a 360 on base percentage. I think he needs to come back. I don't know why they sent him down. JD Martinez, big regression year from him. Hit 240, 15 home runs. He did get hurt at one point. So I think it's done. I think he's done. This is the end of him. Mickey Moniak, honestly not that bad. He was all right, I guess. Nothing really special. Haggerty was not very good this year. So we had a pretty rough team this year at the top end. And looking at our bench, you see 231 from Crawford, who did improve. He was hitting below the Mendoza line for a lot of the season, but he got relegated to the bench because of how badly he was doing. Canzone 229. Lane Thomas was awful this year. 238. I hope that this is a fluke and we can get back to this. But I am concerned now looking at 2024 that this is more of what he actually does. And we just got a fluke year in that one. Harry Ford was the rookie that we brought up. 260, 9 home runs as our platoon catcher, or not platoon, but backup catcher who ended up playing a lot of DH against lefties. But the actual lineup: 280, 19 home runs from Rojas. Arias at 267, regressed in contact a lot, but his power went up as he hit 25 home runs this year. Kind of did the opposite of what I was hoping he would do. I was looking more for contact than I was for power, but honestly, it's fine. 25 home runs, 39 home runs, 305 average for Julio, who is now up to 828 hits, 158 home runs. I'm hoping we can get some 40 home run seasons upcoming here to get him on pace for 500 plus home runs for his career. He's still only 25. Now, in MLB The Show, they start regressing around like 10 years of service. So we're talking about 30, but I'm hoping that Julio can hold it off till he's 40. Like I've seen some people do in this game. And we have him long-term locked up. So Cal Raleigh 282. Jerkson Profar was a fantastic pickup for us. He was meant to be a platoon guy, utility bat, and he just took the shortstop spot. Like he just took it right away from JP Crawford and played shortstop all season and was really good at it. And then John Singleton. The redemption arc for John Singleton, 18 home runs, 362 on base percentage from John Singleton, as he had almost an 800 OPS and was up in the Gold Glove race. I saw for first base as 2.4 WAR season, basically his best season of his career here, as we might have revived a little bit of John Singleton in this season. So I'm gonna go adjust the lineup. I think we are in a spot where hopefully we can get past Houston. I know we've never been able to get past Houston, so let's hope we can get past Houston, and then we would have to play Texas. But that's what I want to see. I want to see us get past Houston in this first round. Starting our first playoff game or series to try to get ourselves to the ALDS, we need to beat the Houston Astros. Castillo, Kirby, and then Logan Gilbert are going to be the three guys we're going to go with. Actually, no. Bryce Miller. Okay. Castillo, Kirby, Bryce Miller. Castillo versus Christian Javier in game 1 is a 2-1 loss, as it looks like once again our bullpen lets us down after Castillo puts up 6 good innings, and we lose in the 7th 1-2. In game 2, George Kirby versus Dylan Cease. It's a 5-3 victory, giving us a nice amount of runs. I think that's the problem. We need a little bit more production because the bullpen is still not good. We got a home run from Singleton, Beer, and Moniak. That's what you want to see. Okay, game 3, Bryce Miller versus Luis Garcia is a 4-3 victory, and we will be advancing to the ALDS to take on the Rangers as we finally win a wild card series. Now, what we need to do is get ourselves to the ALCS. Now, I hope that we can do that with Texas here coming up. So let's go here. I need to check our rotation because I don't know if I want to go Gilbert or if I want to get Castillo ready to go. I think what I want is I don't want Wu to pitch. So I think that's how we're going to do it. I still am not a big fan of how the bullpen has gone so far, but I think we can handle this. So let's get ourselves here. Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby. All right. Game 1. Gilbert, Severino. We get through that 5-2 victory for us with Gilbert taking out okay. Luis Arias with a 3-run home run gets us that victory, basically. Game 2, Castillo versus John Gray. 4-6 loss. Looks like Castillo gave up the runs early on there in the 3rd and 4th with a home run from Evan Carter, and then looks like probably a 2-run double from Corey Seager. All right, game 3, Kirby versus Wynn. 2-6 loss. Once again, we're taking a little bit of a beating here. We're going to go Bryce Miller versus Jacob deGrom. Game 4, we take that victory. All right, this is for all the marbles here. I think what we're going to do is we will jump in and we will quick manage this one, but I'm not going to go with Wu. We will be playing Cleveland in the next round, who, if you are not aware, Cleveland is the team that has beaten them in 2001 and I believe in 97. I think they beat them both years that they were really good. Or maybe it wasn't 97. Let me go take a quick look. Never mind. It was 95. They lost to the Yankees in 2000 and 2001. So let's do this. All right, we want to do anything but pitch Brian Wu, I think. So I think what I'm going to do, question is which one's more valuable. Honestly, I think we're going to go Gilbert here. He's just pitching better in the postseason, as Castillo did get lit up. And hopefully we can get some good production across the board. but Guerrero hits a home run early in the first here. We get a walk to Seager, a single from Adalis, and now it's bases loaded already for Josh Young. Thankfully, we get out of that with only giving up 1 run. Man on first and second for Seth Beer with a sac bunt over to have a second and third for JD Martinez, who walks. Mickey Moniak strikes out. So we have a walk with Josh Rojas. A double play gets us out of that one pretty quick. They have a really powerful offense, so this is a tough one for us. We get a walk. Martinez pops up. Moniak gets a double play. But Gilbert is still pitching well here. Single for Luis Arias, strikeout for Julio, and a flyout for Cal Raleigh. We really need this offense to show up here. As Profar flies out, a walk from Singleton, a fielder's choice for Seth Beer, and a flyout for JD Martinez. That Vladimir Guerrero home run. Oh, Mickey Moniak! Mickey Moniak, here to save the day. Single for Luis Arias. Julio hits into a double play. I think we need to make a pitching change. I know Gilbert has been phenomenal.
Now pitching for Seattle. Number 50.
Bases loaded for Josh Young, who is best against lefties. Dylan Coleman is a righty. There's 1 out. He gets a single, a fielder's choice, and a flyout. So now we are down 0-1.
Okay. Cal Raleigh grounds out. Profar with a single. That leads us to John Singleton with 1 out, who strikes out. 2 outs. Seth Beer walks.
This is a lefty. He's supposed to be good against lefties. Is there a pinch hit that would make more sense? He is good against lefties, but okay, wait, it's clutch rating though. 78 clutch. .64 clutch. I think JD's the best shot. We are going to enter the game. JD Martinez, last season's MVP, has a chance to save the Seattle Mariners season.
As we've got 2 away in the ninth.
Against AJ Minter. 2 outs, top of the 9th. JD Martinez lets the strike go as the cutter gets outside.
In the box now, takes strike 1.
A 1 count. JD swings and misses, taking a huge hack right there. 0-2. If JD can find a way to somehow walk or get on base, I don't care. Leave it for Mickey Moniak. But JD pops up. That's a foul. Still 0-2 count. I don't like where we are at here. Oh, I thought that could possibly get to the outfield. Another foul for JD. He's still fighting with the pitch. He's still fighting, but that's not going to be enough. JD Martinez can't get the ball out of the outfield. He's not fast enough. We lose. ALDS. Game 5. Unable to take our first season, though I'm pretty proud of the guys that we had. Mickey Moniak hit a home run. Ofar was really good this year. Seth Beer was good this year. Singleton was very good this year. And so even though we do not advance, I think it was a great story to see us make it to the ALDS. The Mariners are eliminated by the Rangers as we sim the postseason. The Brewers win back-to-back World Series as they defeat the Guardians. In Game 7 of the World Series, your World Series MVP is Christian Yelich. Brent Rooker postseason MVP and Christian Yelich on this side as the Brewers win back-to-back World Series in 25 and 26. Thankfully, the Padres didn't win, meaning that we are still, there's not one less team that has not won it. We're still the only team to not make it to the World Series. So hopefully next season we can see that and continue to get great production from our kind of like unique signings. Though JD's going to be gone, we'll see what we can do in order to make some signings and make some moves. We are right there, right on the edge. We just need a little more production, and these pitchers need to be way more consistent. I will see you at the beginning of next season.
After days of being rained on and made fun of by passersby, they packed up and went home with nothing. The party was over. Alex, what the fuck was that?
Boom. 106-56. We have won our division. Seattle Mariners are going on. All right. That's fantastic. Let's take a look first, because 106-56 is really good. We got an award winner. Cy Young Award winner, George Kirby, but I see a lot of awards. Hank Aaron, MVP, batting title, Triple Crown Julio, and holy shit. What? 68? 390? What the fuck? 230? What is this season? 235 hits, 50 doubles, 6 triples, 68 home runs, 187 RBIs, 391 average, 1278 OPS. What WAR is that? 15 WAR? MVP, Hank Aaron, Triple Crown, Silver Slugger, home run I need to take a second. What? Julio Rodriguez has the most extra base hits in a season ever. He has the most WAR by a position player in a season ever. And he has the highest OPS since Barry Bonds, with 68 home runs, putting him, what, like 5th all time in home runs in a season? This is disgusting. Okay, let's refocus. All right, let's look at the rest of the team. Ozuna won the MVP on the NL side. Yay. Also, 187 home RBIs. What is that, like, record-wise? Oh, 191's the record. So, okay. All right. This is an insane season. League leaders, Kirby, but Julio, across the board, Julio dominated this season. He had 391. No one else even came close. The only other guy who was close in hits is Arias and India, which actually then, okay, so that makes sense. So those two batted ahead of him, which gave him the opportunity to hit more. Okay. I'm still trying to piece together how this was possible. Let's take a look at the pitching rotation. Kirby with the Cy Young, amazing. Miller, Castillo, the pitching staff is great. Bullpen was not great, per normal. Okay. The lineup, though. Bench, bleh, yuck. India, 285. He was up there in hits. Arias at 299 with 198 hits. So very, very good season from him. He had his best OPS ever. He didn't have his best, but he was very, very close. Profar had an insane 278, 369 on base. Not as good as he was last year, but still another really, really good season. Jung-Hoo Lee was way better than, I mean, he had an 860. So the top 5 guys in the lineup. Because Raleigh, 202. Rojas, 273 was good. He lost his leadoff role, but still 349 on base. Like, good. Clase, 285. Not bad for a rookie. He didn't play a bunch. Who got sent down? Seth Beer, 336 on base at least. Singleton, 300 on base. So Singleton and Beer no longer as impressive as they used to be. Okay. I should fix the lineup. Because we have to play a playoff game in the ALDS. Alright. And taking on in the ALDS, our first round, we have our Cy Young winner, George Kirby, then Bryce Miller, then Castillo, against the Baltimore Orioles. So, hopefully this can get us to the ALCS. A 10-7 loss as Mason Miller blows the save. You know, I love that. I love when he does that for me. You know, I'm so glad that he can do this for me consistently. Bryce Miller versus Grayson Rodriguez in this game 2. We get the win, 3-2, despite it looks like bullpen needing to come in and get us that win. But in the 10th inning, we score that run. Hopefully, we can just call that like a home run off of, by Clase in the 10th inning. Castillo versus Bradish in game 3. That is a 1-4 loss. Is that an error that gets us that? Yes. Unearned run gets us that loss. Because how is his ERA 0? I don't know. Or maybe Castillo deserves the loss and they're just not counting the ERA and it's glitched out. Okay. Game 4. Logan Gilbert versus Jordan Montgomery. We lose. Losing to the Baltimore Orioles in our best season since 2001. It just fits. It's in the postseason. The Braves defeat the Orioles in the 2027 World Series. Taking a look. Sean Murphy wins World Series MVP. Kobe Mayo on the AL side and Michael Harris on the NL side. I don't think Julio's going to be able to put up a season like that again. So we could try, but I think I need to buy now. Like I think I need to buy right now. So we'll go to the offseason and see what we can do to buy to put something next to him to contend next season. So this upcoming season, 2028, I think we are on Julio watch. I think that's our whole thing. Like, yes, could this team end up winning a World Series? Yeah. But I think the more interesting story is, can he replicate what he just did? Like, I don't think that that's possible. I did go in and bring in some guys. So pitching rotation kept the same. We lost Munoz. Bullpen's a little bit weaker this season. We lost Beck as well. But lineup-wise, I did come out and I brought in guys that I thought would help. Steven Kwan has been getting and hitting very, very well as well. So Kwan, and then you go down to Julio, who can he replicate that? And then you have India on-base machine, Profar on-base machine, Jung-Hoo Lee on-base machine, Rojas on-base machine, and then we have our catcher. I also got Marco Luciano off waivers somehow. We brought back Singleton simply because I think I had to pay him $400,000. So everybody just gets on base. Can they get on base enough for Julio to do something similar to what he just did last year? Because to me, that's the most interesting thing. Can he do that again? Can he get 50, 60 home runs again? Can he hit near 400? Could he hit 400? I don't know. I guess we'll see. See you at the draft.
1 month done on Julio watch. The Mariners are 20-8. Let's go check out and see how Julio's doing. Well, Jonathan India's hitting 400. 342 from Quan and 352. Okay, so he's not on 400 watch, but 8 home runs after 1 month, 352 average. That's pretty good. Okay, Jonathan India All right. Ooh. Okay. But all right. Julio. That's a good start. 352, 8 home runs. Not a bad start if he's trying to recreate that 28 games into the season. We can see what he can do next month, too. And we have the lead. And the Rangers aren't that great this time. The Astros aren't that great. I mean, they're great. The AL West is stacked. But can Julio recreate this? Let's just check quick. Awards. He's leading the race. That's what you want to see with Jonathan India in third. Okay. See you in May. June? With a short slip going into June. Let's go check on our Julio watch. Okay. He's down to 364 with India. Juan's down to 302. 385. Okay. 385. 19 home runs now for Julio, who is on pace to continue to improve. Okay. And yeah, this offense is still just disgusting. So he might go back to back. Give it back to back. Yeah, he's leading the race. And man, Riley Green is having a crazy season too. But can Julio recreate this? I don't know. 19 home runs in the first 2 months is pretty insane. But also, Green's got 18. Soto's got 19. This is just a really powerful AL. And now that we move into the month of July, getting closer and closer to All-Star break, let's double check our Julio watch. As we get to the lineup, India's starting to come back down to earth. Juan is still doing well. And Julio, a little less home runs this month. 23, 366. He might be coming down a little bit. I want to see a little more. But, you know, this is still MVP level Julio. I don't think he can get 400. I don't think he's going to hit 400 or 390 or whatever he hit last season. But if he can stay in this 360, 350 range and hit 50 plus home runs, which he might do, knowing that we're about halfway through the season and he's at 23. Now, I don't think he's going to get to 60, 70 home runs like he could have last year, but maybe he gets hot in the second half of the season and hits a lot. But yeah, Arias up to 263. Yeah, this offense is still super powered. It's the 2028 draft, and I think this is going to be the last draft that we're really going to watch. I'm playing the entire career of Julio. We might jump in the 2030s again, but I feel like we've built a really good farm system for Seattle. And so I might let the CPU take over for a few seasons before we jump back in and take over once they, inevitably mess up every single draft. I scouted mostly pitchers. And once again, there's a lot of really good ones. This Royce Orozco is very good. I don't like the hits per 9 for Tommy, but it's all right. This guy, this reliever, he's going to be good. But he's a reliever. And then there's also some interesting position players. Shane O'Leary was a guy I scouted last year who was in the draft and is still in the draft and looks very, very good. I don't think he's going to last to my second round pick because I do want to take probably one of the pitchers with the top pick. But it's not like a bad pick necessarily. This is an interesting late round guy. And we've got a few basically guys who are extremely interesting as potential players to draft. Now, I think Orozco is the top guy. If he's there at my first pick, he's going to be the pick. I also really, really like Terrell Silva. So I wouldn't mind going with Silva either. But we can see what's available. Maybe Shane O'Leary will last my second pick, but probably not. So let's start our draft. See what we get. Orozco's the top guy on my board. So if we can find a way to get him, that's our preference. Adrian Vesperis is technically the actual top guy, but we were never going to be able to get that. And Hugh Little. So let's sim to our pick. And Orozco's there. That makes this draft real easy as we take Royce Orozco, our top guy on our board. And going to our next pick, it looks like they weren't there. And Tommy Hinojo is still here. Brock Page is still here. Tejada is still here. And that guy is still here. I think that means that Brock Page is going to be the player that I take. I'm going to take a look quick. Let's see the other guys that are all on the board. See, I know that Hinojo is good, but I just don't like the stats he's good at. Honestly, Brandon McMurray is probably more interesting because he has the stats I enjoy being better. Maybe we go McMurray. It's not a pick I was assuming I was going to do, but I think he's probably the better guy. Yeah, we're going to take Brandon McMurray with this pick. And Brock Page is gone, but I wasn't necessarily certain I really liked him because he was defensively minded. I'm going to wait on him. And there's still a lot of really interesting prospects here, especially later on, like Tommy Lind, who is the 90 to 95 potential, but he's 23, so he won't play till he's 35, but, you know. Okay, I think what we're going to do is I want to take probably one of the relievers, and then we'll just go for Yamazaki. So I'll wait one more round for Mendez. No, we're going to take him. Yeah, we'll just take him. Lower potential, to be honest. But man, that hits per 9 is safe. And now we can get a Carr or Kelly. Oh no, Villanueva. This was a guy I liked. Okay. Villanueva. And then which guys? Oh my god, none of them are close. Maybe we just go a reliever. Something different. I didn't realize these guys were that far off. We'll take our swing on Mlbtheshow as a reliever. And Tommy Lind. Look, boom. We get the catcher secondary with our last pick. So that is the 2028 draft. That's the last draft we are going to do our full scouting and then drafting for. We will let the computer run the rest of the next drafts, and we'll just sign the guys they have as we continue to go. But this is, yeah. We'll continue our Julio watch. Logically, it might not make a lot of sense. I know other people are going to look at it and be like, why would you do this deal? But I want another catcher that can get on base, and we need some more production just out of the catcher position. I know he's on an expiring deal, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but also I think that we might be getting out of a little extra money here. I'm going to give them Cal Raleigh in a straight catcher swap, and Raleigh has 5 years on his deal, but he's regressing. And in order to make this deal happen, we're also going to give him Jonathan Clase. Basically, this helps us get out from under the Cal Raleigh contract, which maybe will allow me to re-sign a pitcher that I would be losing otherwise, because we do need a little bit of cash. And we have the Bullington coming up soon, so Harry Ford could be the starter and Bullington could be the backup in the future, but we have to capitalize on this season. So we're gonna go get Tyler Stevenson for Cal Raleigh and Jonathan Clase. Take a look at our draft picks. Orozco wasn't as good as I thought he would be. I mean, still 87 potential. That's pretty good. McMurray wasn't necessarily a big swing either. So I don't know how well we really did. We got kind of the bottom end of a lot of the guys that we went for, but I'm not mad at any of these picks. McMurray will still be a valuable pitcher. Mendez will be a valuable reliever who can come up soon. It's going to be a C potential guy, but I mean, the hits per 9 is really good. Villanueva will be a valuable first baseman, and Mlbtheshow will be a valuable young reliever as well. And then Tommy Lind, 98 potential, but like I said, he's not going to be good till he's like 31. So big questions on Tommy Lind if there's ever going to be any value from him. So yeah, we didn't draft as well as we could have. I do want to double check now, because there were a few guys that we looked at. I just want to see what else is all around. Montenegro was actually pretty good too, but I think it's the same thing as the Lind question. Didn't look at Rich Alonso. A lot of guys did not get signed. So, oh, wow, they drafted well. Yeah, they drafted very, very well. Okay. Was Reed Hoffman somebody I scouted? I don't remember. Terrell Silva was pretty good. Actually, no, he must have been injured because he has an 86 potential, not 92 to 97 like it was scouted. Yamazaki was really good too. Okay, so I think we could have made some different picks, is basically what I'm seeing. Wow, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Artie Lake. Scouted him. David Akar. Yeah. So I think we scouted all the right guys. We just didn't take them. So that's all right. That happens. This is our last draft that we're going to do. And then on our Julio watch, we are 68-42. So leading our division, going back for another division title. I think we're underperforming a little bit for how our team really is. Oh, not that. So like team rankings wise, yes, we are number 1 in batting average. But we're 4th in runs. We're not getting everybody in. We're number 1 in hits, number 2 in doubles. But our home run total is a little bit down this year. I think it's just everybody else isn't really hitting for power this year. It doesn't help that Cal Raleigh is gone now because he just was underperforming. But Julio is still improving. 46 doubles already at 101 games into the season and 36 home runs. I don't think, like, he's not going to put up a season like he did last year, but he will get a 1 dot OPS, hopefully a 10-plus WAR season from him, and another MVP. The question is, how many home runs can he get in these last 2 months? I'm hoping to see him get close to 60. You can see he passed the 250 home run mark already, and I think that that's a good shot that he can get up to, you know, if he continues to play like this, which is kind of obscene for him to play this well, and then also be one of the best defensive outfielders too. And everybody else is performing well. Tyler Stevenson is looking a little bit worse. I wonder if he should be a platoon type of guy for us. I don't know if he was platooning. He was platooning in Kansas City. Maybe we'll do that. We'll, against righties, go Harry Ford. And we'll go Stevenson against lefties. And then let Ford do that. So, all right. Nothing crazy right now. Okay, Profile's finally getting hot. But, yeah. We'll show you when we make the September call-ups. So that way you can see where Julio's at that point. But we have 2 months left for him to cement his second MVP award. And, man, Riley Green is right behind him. So... this is actually going to be a tough one. This is a kind of insane race for it to be Julio and Riley Green with the seasons that they're putting up together. So, as of our September check-in with Julio, 44 home runs, 54 doubles. I mean, his doubles are crazy. We can see if he can get 200 hits. I don't think he will necessarily, or maybe he will this season. And I mean, he'll get over 50 home runs this season. I don't think he'll get to 60. So we'll see what he can do. Not as great of a season this year. Definitely 350. He's still not even at a 400 on base. He's just not walking. He doesn't walk. He either hits a home run, a double, or he must like fly out pretty much. But yeah, 10 WAR season again for him. So I think this is MVP caliber. I mean, if we take a look in this, okay. Somehow Riley Green has fallen off. I don't understand. 338, 106 RBIs. Yeah, I don't see how that's a fall off, but all right. In the running for another Triple Crown. We'll see what he can do. And 102-60, and we win our division, taking on the winner of the wild card game. Let's go check, because you know what we're really here for. Logan Gilbert, Cy Young. Hank Aaron, MVP, batting title. That is back-to-back Triple Crowns for Julio, who hits 57 home runs, 161 RBIs, 341. He got power this season. Looks like, I mean, 209 hits, 57 home runs. This is another season which would technically... No, this one would not have broken the... extra base record. Yeah. But looks like from him too, he's walking a little bit less. So I am seeing some, like, you're not seeing it necessarily, but it looks like there is a little bit of regression from last year. Now, I can't really say that when you have a 12 WAR season, which also would have been the best all time if it wasn't, like, you know, him setting it the year before. But, like, yeah, 2 MVP, 2 Triple Crowns from him. I think we have our Hall of Fame career. Honestly, we could just pretty much sim the rest of his career, and he's got it locked. With this 161 RBIs, 187, 2 Triple Crowns, back-to-back MVPs. Logan Gilbert wins the Cy Young with Bryce Miller as the runner-up. We also, Jonathan India did regress at the end there, but and he ruins a chance for Riley Green and to put up to a crazy season and possibly get himself in that position. League leaders: Gilbert, Miller, and then Julio, once again, just absolutely dominating on this side. And I think while I was looking, he didn't lead the league in hits this year. Is that Jesse Winker? Wow. Okay. And in home runs, the NL was so bad, and the AL was actually like a little bit up for grabs. So another great season from him. And I think one thing about it too, oh my God, Cole Phillips was awful. Yeah, we'll send him down. That's yikes. Pitching staff was very good this year. Evan Phillips was very good. Mason Miller kind of redeemed himself, but still 6 blown saves. Top of the pitching staff, you obviously have Kirby Miller. Like, these guys were all really good. Castillo is regressing. I don't think he'll be coming back. But the lineup, the reason we weren't winning as many games strictly comes from the fact that, like, nobody was hitting people in. No one was slugging. We weren't really that high in extra base hits minus the Julio ones. If you took Julio out and replaced him with probably a replacement level player this past season, you wouldn't have seen a whole lot of production. I mean, 85, 106, 70, that's all right. 102, like, yes, that's still a lot of RBIs. But you got to think, like, these guys should all be over 100, and Julio's just kind of carrying us with all of this. The offense, besides him, have done what the intention was, too. Like, my goal was to build a team that just got on base so Julio could hit them in and get RBIs and get MVPs, and in 2 straight seasons, we have done that. We have built a team strictly with the goal of getting Julio crazy stat lines, and he has done that. Now, the question is, can we parlay that into success? We will see. I'm going to go adjust the lineup, and then we will run our playoffs of 2028. Round 1, ALDS versus Tampa Bay. Give us a shot here. We're going Kirby, Miller, Castillo. Actually, let's change that quick. Gilbert did win the Cy Young. We will put Gilbert third. Kirby against Shane McClanahan gets a 5-3 victory. Bryce Miller versus Ryan Pepio gets a 2-1 victory. And Logan Gilbert versus Taj Bradley. We have finally made it to the ALCS to take on Boston. All right. So Castillo, I think we can go Castillo game 1. I am confident in that. Now, they have a very, very good team. Boston, I know, I've seen for the last several seasons, have been, well, building. Casas is good. They got Caminero, who's very good. Mayer's good. They signed Kyle Tucker. They brought in Arenado. Their pitching staff, they've obviously improved. They brought in Dean Kremer. They brought in Mackenzie Gore. They brought in Zach Wheeler. They brought in Kopech. Like, they have Garrett Cole. Like, this is a very, very good team. So this is going to be a tough one. I hope that we can get through this. I think what we will do is we have Castillo starting this game. Then we will go Kirby, Miller, Gilbert. I don't really want Hancock to pitch, to be honest. He was not very good this season. So, all right. Game 1, Castillo versus Mackenzie Gore. We get a 7-1 victory. Kirby versus Garrett Whitlock. That is a 2-4 loss. Mason Miller blowing the save. Actually wasn't a save, but, you know. The battle of 201 teams goes to the closer once again. Bryce Miller versus Dean Kremer in Game 3. It's a 10-6 victory as we are continuously getting very, very good offense. Julio Rodriguez carrying this game. Well, Mickey Moniak got 3 RBIs too. Logan Gilbert versus Brian Bayo in Game 4. Gives us a 5-3 victory. I just saw that. Was that Mickey Moniak who did that? No, it was not. We must have just got a bunch of extra of hits there. He got a hit by pitch that got him on there, but India gets a 2 RBI single, it looks like, in order to probably get us over that hump. Julio had an RBI double. Harry Ford had an RBI double, and Rojas must have had an RBI single in that 9th inning to get us that victory. As we are up 3-1. I think what we have to do, just stamina-wise, is we are not going to mess with it. We will let Hancock pitch against Mackenzie Gore in Game 4. We lose. I shouldn't have. In Game 6, Luis Castillo versus Garrett Whitlock. We have lost, and this is Game 7. So Game 7 of the ALDS, we will be going on to play the Padres if we win this. This is extremely important because this is our shot. We are in T-Mobile Park. We are going to go George Kirby, and hopefully we can get led to the promised land. 3-run home run by Alex Verdugo. Solo home run from India. Walk. That is a single from Arias got. Come on. Arias got thrown out going to third, and that's going to hurt us as we give up another 2-run home run. Rojas gets a home run. It's still 5-2. We still have a good shot here, but 5 runs given up by George Kirby is not a good start. I'm already making the pitching change. We're going to Brian Wu.
Number 22.
Profar walks. Double. And another run scores. We are down 6-3. Okay, we've got a man on first and third for Josh Rojas against Dean Kremer. And a double play. That's a walk for Ford. Single for Moniak. A fly out for India. A fielder's choice. Man on first and third for Julio, who grounds out.
Now pitching for the Red Sox.
Quan fly out. Oh, come on, guys.
Mlbtheshow.
He's safe.
We got to make a pitching change here. We'll go Santos.
Number 0. Gregory.
Bottom of the 9th. Game 7. Error gets Rojas on first. A fly out from Harry Ford. A single. We've got a man on first and second for Jonathan India, who flies out. We are going to enter. This is the bottom of the 9th of the ALCS for the Mariners' first ever opportunity to make it to a World Series. This is the biggest moment in Mariners history right now. Luis Arias versus Michael Kopech in the bottom of the 9th. Slider outside, strike 1.
Sometimes pitchers working backwards, starting with the breaking ball, but it's a tricky approach. He almost wants to bait you out there to throw that stuff to start the at-bat.
That's a ball inside, right there.
Here in Game 7 of the ALCS.
Fouled off by Arias. 1-2 count. You know what? If he gets on base, or we get an opportunity for Julio to come up, I'm playing. So please, Luis Arias. No! That is a ground out. And we have lost in Game 7 in the bottom of the 9th. Blowing a 3-1 lead. And we do not advance to the World Series. The Boston Red Sox are the AL champions, and we once again do not make it. Luis Arias grounds out, and that is the end of the 2028 Seattle Mariners.
I really wanted that shot. I wanted that shot. I was going to play as Julio if we got that shot.
The Mariners have been eliminated
from the playoffs by the Boston Red Sox. And the Red Sox defeat the Padres in the 2028 World Series. Rafael Devers wins World Series MVP, Nick York postseason MVP, and Dalton Varsho on their side as we lose, blowing a 3-1 lead in the ALCS. It's a rough way to go out, but the whole team should be back for the most part next year, and we can get another shot. I don't think I'm going to follow Julio as closely this year. We'll probably just do a mid-season check-in and then a postseason check-in, because I feel like now we got to win. We got to win. 2029 begins with basically the same exact lineup and rotation. I brought Castillo back on a 2-year, $20 million deal with a club option in case he regresses. I extended George Kirby, and yeah, bullpen's still a little bit messy, but I think we have guys who are almost ready to come up in regards to the bullpen, and the starter backups aren't really that good. But Grieve could possibly come up soon. We just have a couple bullpen arms that could come up and replace a lot of the guys that we have. Now, we will probably have to make some moves in the next offseason to fix our bullpen. So this is pretty much our last shot with this bullpen to be this good. Lineup-wise, same thing. The only difference is Montez is up, Cole Young is up, Floyd Zinn is up. And Steve Bullington, because we did not bring back Tyler Stevenson. So it's going to be a little interesting. We're going to bring in a couple guys that I think could produce pretty well. I don't know. I'm going to kind of play around with this Steve Bullington, Harry Ford thing, see if Harry Ford can play a little bit better this season. We'll see. I like Harry Ford more, but I don't know. Like I said, we'll see, because I do like the vision and clutch from Bullington. Montez is up. He's 84. He just has to play at some point. And it's interesting because we actually have like a lot of guys that could be replaced too. Rojas, I think, is I signed him to an extension, but I don't necessarily know how much longer he's got in the gas tank. And Profar, we have 1 more year left. I picked up his option. So Luciano, Cole Young will probably take this spot from him eventually. But I don't know. We just have a lot of guys right now, and I'm starting to think of maybe we compile some of these guys at the deadline, throw a bunch of them together, and see what we can get out of it. But yeah, this is our shot 2029. I'm going to relinquish scouting to the CPU because I don't think we really need to build our farm system up right now. Top prospects, I know that we are pretty much at the top of everything right now. Belcher and stuff like this. This is B potential pitchers and guys that are considered 20th right now for us. So we have a lot of guys in the system. Tejada is the bottom one for us, which means that by organization, we have 4. I would have thought we had more guys in the top 100. Oh no, we do. We just have guys that are at the majors, so they don't count as everything. So yeah, we've got a lot of guys in the system. I also did not scroll down to the bottom, so that explains it. All right. See you at the deadline. We're not going to do the draft. 83 and 79, we make the postseason as a wild card team, and that's a hardcore fall off for us to fall all the way down to 83 and 79. But at least we're still a playoff team. I'll take that. That's not necessarily what you want to see. Let's take a look at the standings because I want to see like how. Oh, okay. A tie. Thanks to the tiebreaker, we get in. That was a close one. Good to know that that's how we get in. But yikes! At the end of the season, we get in. Luckily, despite trying to lose, as we lose 2 straight games there at the end. The Guardians lost 1, thankfully. We had the best team, and it's just, yeah, okay. All right, award winners. Cy Young for George Kirby, Hank Aaron for Julio, and MVP for Julio, as he gets another one with 62 home runs this season. I think when I went in, so this is something a little behind the scenes. I went in and I talked about in the beginning, I talked about his power and how he wasn't hitting home runs. He was like that first season he hit 24 and I didn't like it. I wanted him to hit 30, 40 per season. So I went and I started training his power
And then I went and I hired a hitting coach with a +3 power and a manager with a +3 power. That has helped us so much. And a farm director who also had +3 power. All of those have helped us so much. He had 16 triples this season too. To get him to slug the way that he has. And 68, 57, 62, you can see when we finally got that. We finally got the power potential there from him in these past 3 seasons as he wins 3 straight MVPs, hitting a 1.1 OPS in each season, now a career 1. OPS, 3 straight 10+ WAR seasons for him. He gets the home run champion 3 straight years in a row. Yeah, you love to see it. This year he got a Gold Glove too. So he's playing elite defense too. Kirby gets another Cy Young. It's crazy that this team and he was probably 1 hit away from another Triple Crown. So that was almost 3 straight Triple Crowns for him, which is crazy. And this team almost didn't make the playoffs. So that's a sign that like he's kind of carrying, but it's really tough. If he was not being as productive as he was, we would have no chance at all. This team is just they're not doing that well. And taking a look at the pitching rotation, like Kirby gets the Cy Young, but the rest of them, oof. Cole Phillips at least was pretty good when he came up. But the bullpen has been bad except for Gregory Santos. It's just not necessarily been great. If we look down here, Profar was good this year. 326, 396 on base. I kind of want to keep him around, but I know that I don't have the room for him. Moniak has kind of regressed down. I mean, we're just not seeing the production that we need to see from a lot of our guys up. Now, at the MLB level, Bliss 207, Luciano 259, Cole Young 237. Montez was not very good in his rookie season. Harry Ford was not good at all. He's regressing. Bullington was bad. Zinn was all right, looks like. Got on base a lot. That's what I want to see from him. Good on base machine. I think he's a guy that'll definitely help Julio continue to hit his goals. Jonathan India had a good season. Looks like Stephen Kwan had a little bit of a down year, hitting 278, but he's still like this. This is why I meant. Like, you can see the power here coming from these guys that I'm getting, and that's why they all have this, because I have these plus power boosts, which is probably why the Arias home run thing came in when he got in here. So Arias kind of got worse. Jung-Hoo Lee was all right this season. I think this is the last year. I was considering, we were 10 games below 500 at the deadline, and I was considering selling, but I just figured, like, you can't. I saw that Julio was in the MVP race again, and I was like, you can't sacrifice an opportunity. In the 90s, they did that. They traded away Randy despite still having this absolutely amazing core, and they lost because of that. And it's just something that you can't afford to do. So we have our first round against Minnesota, and then we'd have to play Oakland, which is Juan Soto and all of them. So this is going to be a tough one. And our team is not that good. Julio has been great, but the rest of the team is not good. So I'm going to go adjust our lineup and see what we can do. Because I'm not very confident going into this 2029 offseason or postseason. So despite lacking a lot of confidence, we have the Minnesota Twins here for our wild card run here. Bryce Miller, Kirby, and then Castillo for this run. Looks like they don't have very good pitching, but that could always not mean anything. We get a win 9-4 as we beat Pablo Lopez. Bryce Miller takes him on. Kirby against Jordan Balazovic in game 2. Okay, we at least win that one, and we go on to take the A's. Boston won, so maybe we can get our redemption against Boston if we defeat the A's. Castillo will pitch game 3. That is, or game 1. 0-2 loss. Just no offense, it looks like, from that. Only 5 hits from us this game. Emerson Hancock versus Edward Cabrera. That is an 11-2 victory as Edward Cabrera gets lit up. So we are at a 1-1 series right now with Oakland. And that will leave Gilbert versus Brennan in game 3. That is a 3-7 loss as Gilbert gets lit up. Bryce Miller versus Joe Ryan for game 4. We lose to the A's. Yeah, not a lot of confidence in this season, but the Diamondbacks go on to defeat the A's in the 2029 World Series. Taking a quick look at that. Brandon Marsh wins World Series MVP. Juan Soto on this side, Marsh on this side. Yeah, I mean, the A's are a stacked roster. I can't deny. They have Soto. They got in O'Neal Cruz this offseason. They've just been building a really good team. And so I don't mind losing to them. It just sucks to do it and not get our chance at redemption. We're going to make some changes this offseason, some big changes, and maybe a return of an old friend coming this offseason.
Here we see the Kingdome, just about a week before the Mariners' opening day. And you know what? It's not so bad. It's only 23 years old. No tiles have fallen since the 1994 incident, more than 5 years ago. And it offers the ideal controlled environment for Junior, who has a real shot at breaking the all-time home run record one day. The permanently closed roof ensures that the wind won't blow his home run balls back into play. The field dimensions aren't all that unfriendly to him either. All in all, the Kingdome seems like the perfect place for Junior to make history and establish himself as the all-time... No, shit. No, crab apples.
So for the 2030 season, I said I was going to bring back a few old friends, and there's a couple things I meant by that. One, in the rotation, yes, we brought Castillo back, but we also brought back Matt Brash, who won reliever of the year in 2027. So I guess I was wrong. I made the mistake. But then look, I guess he wasn't as good in the next 2 seasons. Whatever. We brought back Matt Brash, needing another reliever. We also brought back former Mariner Edwin Diaz, who is at 432 career saves, and I figured, yeah, why not? Let's just bring him in to be the closer this year. We still needed bullpen arms. I didn't want to pay Mason Miller. And we have some guys coming up in Rincon and Gimsey. And so, interesting position. This will be the last year with Castillo. Castillo will go, and then these Phillips and Wu will come back in. We extended Wu for a little bit longer. Gilbert still has 3 years left on his deal. Kirby has 4 years left on his, and then 4 years left on Bryce Miller. Hancock will be a free agent at the end of this year, and Hancock will probably be the one who is gone in order to make room for Tejada and all that, whatever. So we brought back Diaz. We brought back Brash. Those are 2 guys we brought back. Now, we didn't necessarily do much here. We lost Jung-Hoo Lee. I gave out the qualifying offer and he declined it. And I can't remember where he went, but I think it was like Chicago. So we lost Jung-Hoo Lee, but that's okay. I brought back Profar, but I just don't have room right now. So I think this will be an interesting lineup for us this year. Gives Montez a chance to actually start. Zinn will be a starter this year. Cole Young will be a starter. Bullington will be up. I needed to make room for the young guys too. But the real thing that I said I'm bringing back, and what I meant by that, is it's been 30 seasons. But I think it's time for there to be a dome in Seattle. We are going back to the Kingdome. Rebuilding it. All right. Well, with that, we will see you at the end of the season, unless I make a move at the deadline. And see if Julio can keep this up. 3 straight MVPs. Can he get a 4th? Probably not, to be honest, but maybe. We're back on top, going 102-60 and winning our division. So we just had an off year in 2029. And I think one big part of that, as I was simming through and watching and adjusting the lineup throughout this season, was I think the Kingdome brought the bats back, because we could hit this year. Cy Young goes to Logan Gilbert again. Lazaro Montez with a Gold Glove. Julio with a Hank Aaron. Julio with an MVP. And a batting title to Jonathan India, though the Yankees are right behind him, as Julio hits 58 home runs, and the Yankees guys are right there. But Kirby and Gilbert are juggling Cy Young awards. But basically, as I was watching, pretty much the bats returned. Lazaro Montez, or let's look here. It doesn't really show it. But we had a lot of guys get a lot of hits and bat very, very well. Oh my God, the Yankees. Okay. And And Gunnar was also up there too. So the Yankees are really good this year. Great. Home runs, Julio led that. RBIs, Julio led that. Runs, Julio led that. But going back to our rotation first, I think they sent down Castillo. They sent down 497 in basically his last year with us. Not bad, but we'll bring him back up. Diaz was awful, 675 in his last season. Probably last season ever in the majors. Well, we might bring him back up. Depends on how Mario we'll bring him back up. Bullpen wise, Brian Wu was decent. Cole Phillips was decent. I think what that means is Wu will take the spot for Castillo in the playoffs in the actual rotation. Brash was bad, of course. Rincon was bad. Gimsey was bad. Phillips was horrible, and Santos was all right. So we've got one good reliever. And lineup wise, first taking a quick look down here, I don't think they sent Rojas down, who had a 320 on base, but he's regressing. And his contract's up, so he will be done for us. But not a bad way to end. Moniak 275. Bliss hit 300 this season in 136 at-bats. Cole Young hit 224, not necessarily great. Harry Ford hit 240, so he's still not doing well. He's got one more year of arbitration before us decide whether or not we bring him back. But India hit 336 in the leadoff spot with 23 home runs, on base percentage of 429, almost a 1 dot OPS, which is what you want to see. Floyd Zinn took that first base spot, 24 home runs, 29 RBIs, 292, 371 on base. This dude was great. Julio, who is regressing now, 58 home runs, 45 doubles, 175 hits, 308 average, 371 on base. Still another 1 dot OPS season, still another 10 WAR season, but he's starting to regress. He's getting a little. I said that this happens a little bit in this game where they regress early. Now he's still a 99, but I'm concerned about those ratings going down. Quan at 271. We've got 3 more years of Quan, though I don't know how much I really want to stick with that. We've got Montes hit 274, Arise hit 270 in his last year with us. I think this will be his last year with us. I just need to continue to make room for the guys. Luciano hit 300 for us. Fantastic pickup. That was a waiver pickup, if you recall. And Steve Bullington at 266. Good contact catcher. We are in a spot. We have the division. We have to beat Houston or Oakland, a division rival. Oakland beat us last year. And then we'd have to go play the other side, the winner of the Yankees and the Guardians Rays. So we'll see what we get. I will fix the rotation and roster, and then we will go to the playoffs. Taking on the Oakland A's, who defeated us last season, we have Bryce Miller, then Kirby, and then Gilbert. Hopefully we can get our revenge here against Oakland, as Bryce Miller goes against Daniel Espacino in Game 1, getting a 5-4 victory. Thank you, Bryce Miller. In Game 2, George Kirby versus Rondell O'Neal. And come on, Kirby. That's a 4-0 victory against Oakland, giving us a 2-0 lead, going Gilbert versus Edward Cabrera in Game 3. And hopefully Santos keeps it, and we have the Yankees. All right. Our rival.
And a date with those Yankees.
Let's take a look at their lineup. It's kind of crazy. You saw that they were one of the best teams. Oswald Peraza, Riley Green, Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Judge, Spencer Jones. This team is phenomenal. And pitching staff-wise, Chase Hampton, Tanner Houck, Hunter Green, Sixto Sanchez. It is safe to say this is our biggest rival and our biggest threat to being able to finally make it. Now, if we get there, this will be, once again, our first ever opportunity to make it to the World Series. So let's see what we can do. Game 1, Bryce Miller, Chase Hampton. We get a 4-2 victory as we win that one. Nice and simple. Riley Green did get a 2-run home run, but Stephen Kwan got his own. Game 2, George Kirby versus Tanner Houck. That is a 4-3 loss as we go down and tie that 1-1. Logan Gilbert versus Hunter Green in Game 3. It's an 8-2 victory as Hunter Green gives up a good amount of runs, and Stephen Kwan gets what looks like a grand slam to get himself through that and give us an 8-2 victory. Brian Wu versus Sixto Sanchez in Game 4. 4-3 victory. We are up 3-1 on the New York Yankees. I let Hancock do this last time. We are going to make a change. I do not want Hancock to do this to me this time. So we will go just like this. And hopefully, last time we made a playoff run, Hancock blew it. We lost a game because of Emerson Hancock. I don't want to lose again. So we have 3-1 against the Yankees. Miller versus Warren. Okay, we lose that one. Bryce Miller gives up runs. Game 6. I think what we should do is we should enter. We will enter. Play next game. Quick manage. In the Kingdome against the Yankees in Game 6. George Kirby takes the mound.
Play ball. 3.
And after one, we get one hit, but that's about it. They get a single from Aaron Judge. Fly out. This game is not going to score a lot. Still 0-0. Get off my screen, dude. We give up 2. Okay, double play. All right. Single from Arias. Strikeout. And double play. We get a walk from India. A strikeout from Zinn. Fly out from Rodriguez. And a line out. It is still 0-0 going into the top of the 5th. Rojas gets a single. Montez strikes out. Single from Arias. 1 out. We are going to sack fly. 1-run lead for George Kirby, who gets a double play in the bottom of the 6th. India with a fly out, in, strikeout. Rodriguez walks. Kwan with a single. Rojas gets a single. That's a 2-0 lead for Lazaro Montez. We get a walk. Bases loaded for Luis Arias. Fly out. Okay. We get through that with George Kirby. This is still a 2-0 lead. We are going to make a pitching change. You know what? No, we are not. We are going to let him keep going. Pop out, strikeout, walk, caught stealing. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Floyd's in, flies out. Rodriguez with a double. Ground out for Stephen Kwan. Single for Josh Rojas. And a ground out. Pitching change. Gregory Santos. Ground out, fly out. Let's enter this game. We will go on to play Miami if we win this. But Gregory Santos holds the fate of the Seattle Mariners in his hands. Our reliever in the Kingdome, and we make it to the World Series. Swinging strike for Hayden Garcia.
Okay. 0-1 count.
That's a foul ball.
Looking to rally.
With an 0-2 count. Gregory Santos against Hayden Garcia. Ball outside. 1-2 count. With the opportunity to go to the World Series. 2-2 count now. With an opportunity to go to the World Series for the first time in Seattle Mariners history, Gregory Santos gets a foul from Hayden Garcia. I believe Riley Green is on deck, so. Did he go? He did not. Full count. Full count for Hayden Garcia for Gregory Santos in the top of the 9th in Game 6 of the ALCS. That's a strikeout. The Seattle Mariners are going to the World Series, defeating the New York Yankees and finally getting the monkey off their back.
It's so beautifully, obnoxiously fake. The superstar slides into home to beat the bad guy. Fireworks are lit off indoors above a nylon field. The team just played for its life and won.
Led by Julio Rodriguez, we are the 2030 American League champions and have finally earned ourselves a postseason or a World Series appearance thanks to the save, thanks to the 3-for-4 day by Josh Rojas. And there we go. And just like that, the Seattle Mariners have made it to their first ever World Series to take on the Florida Marlins. We are going to have, we're going to sim to there, make a pitching change here. Why are we wearing these jerseys? I think it said Gilbert was going. That's fine. Gilbert can go. We'll go Gilbert, Miller, Kirby, Wu, Hancock. Okay. Game 1 of the World Series is Logan Gilbert versus Sandy Alcantara. That's a 1-6 loss. In Game 2, Bryce Miller versus Yuri Perez, 3-9 loss. Okay. Game 3, George Kirby versus Noble Meyer. It's an 11-8 victory. Brian Wu in Game 4 against Max Meyer is a 4-3 victory. It's a 2-2 series. We cannot let Hancock pitch. But Bryce Miller's not much better. So that's going to be our roll. Gilbert, then Kirby, then Miller. Game 5, Logan Gilbert versus Sandy Alcantara. That is a 1-0 victory as we go up 3-2 in the World Series. George Kirby versus Yuri Perez for Game 6 for the chance to win our first ever World Series appearance in the Kingdome. He doesn't have stamina. Okay, we're going to go Bryce Miller. We will save Kirby. No, Bryce Miller's cold. We will pitch Emerson Hancock to try to save Kirby for Game 7 if we need him. Okay, after 2, and it's still 0-0, though we have not gotten a single hit yet this game. We need something. And still nothing from this offense. Just a few walks. And Emerson Hancock gives up a solo home run. And he's falling apart. We got to make the pitching change. We're going to go Cole Phillips, who gets out of that. Finally get a single from Luis Arias here. And a 2-run home run from Steve Bullington. Takes a 2-1 lead. Double from Jonathan India. Ground out. Strikeout. Single from Rojas. Error gets 2 men on. We are still up 2-1. And they get a double to tie it. 2-2. And a 3-2 game. Double play. So, Luciano gets on. That's a walk from Bullington. A double. That takes a 4-3 lead. Zinn gets a single. Now it's 5-3. A double from Julio, but Zinn gets out. Quan with a walk. We continue to try to get it. Sack bunt over there. We have a man on second and third for Lazaro Montes, who flies out. 5-3.
Now pitching for the Marlins.
Take your base.
3-run home run from Jonathan India to take an 8-3 lead.
Now pitching for the Marlins.
We are going to make a pitching change and go to Gregory Santos. Strikeout, fly out, and enter the game. In Game 6 of the World Series for the Seattle Mariners. A 99% win expectancy. Can Gregory Santos lead us to the promised land once again? Sinker outside, goes to a 1-0 count.
Foul back our way, and that's out of play.
That is a 1-1 count after the foul off there. And here we go with the pitch. Strike! Okay. 1-2 count. Gregory Santos versus Sam Mars in the 2030 World Series. Can he get there? That ball's deep. It is deep. Oh, does not get caught by Stephen Kwan. Julio gets it, throws it in to second base. That is a double for Sam Mars as Santos gives up a fly that just a little too high for Stephen Kwan to get to. This ball goes very, very deep, but Kwan just can't get there, and that gives him a double. So back to the top of the lineup. Vidal Brujan versus Gregory Santos. Gets the strike on the inside. 0-1 count. He is having a fantastic World Series. He is the kind of reason we were even in a little bit of a slump here. 0-1. I don't know why I meant slump. Another strike, drops it in. 0-2 count. Vidal Brujan in the top of the ninth against Gregory Santos. What can we get? Mr. Santos fouled off.
And that's just foul.
And with the pitch, that drops in. Julio gets the ball. He throws it at home. Oh, he doesn't get there in time. It is 4-8. As Santos gives up a run. Now it's got Geraldo Perdomo. Come on, we still have a 4-run lead, Santos, so I feel safe, but he gets it, grounds to Jonathan India, and with that, the Seattle Mariners win the 2030 World Series. Gregory Santos gets the save. Steve Bullington, the hero of this game. Jonathan India, the hero. Our managers are there. Just like that, we've done it. We have ended the drought in Seattle. We are 2030 World Series champions. Your Seattle Mariners.
This is a moment that belongs to another world. One where cycles close and stories end, where there are heroes and the heroes win. A moment like this has no business in our world.
And to take a look, your World Series MVP is Steve Bullington. Your playoff MVP goes to Stephen Kwan, who had that grand slam in that game. The Mariners have won. All we needed was the Kingdom. That's just what we needed. You know, they gave up on the Kingdom too fast. That's the problem. All right. So with that, we now are a champion. We are still going to continue to go through Julio's career, though I'm going to probably speed through it a little bit more now that we've won. I think we've accomplished every goal we could have set. The only question is, can he get to the Hall of Fame? And on his path, he looks like he'll get there. He's the one who won. Julio is the one who won. Now, I have given the CPU control. I'm only kind of micromanaging Julio and his training right now. So,
And I will relinquish control for a little while
until he regresses to a point where I'm going to have to try to make sure he stays in the lineup. And so, for now, we're not going to do the play. We're going to sim them, obviously. But they're a wildcard team at 87 and 75. Team is not as good. But Julio gets himself another MVP, hitting 51 home runs, though. Looks like we get some regression now. He is regressing. 157 hits. He played 134 games, still hit 50 home runs, and the 50 home runs is basically what got him there. Less than a 1. OPS for the first time in a while. Only a 7 WAR season. His fielding is getting worse. But he still snags another MVP. So that's 5 straight MVPs for him now. And 5 straight home run champions. He's basically just a power hitter at this point. Bryce Miller gets a runner-up, almost gets the 5-peat for Cy Youngs for Mariners as well. But yeah, decent season. He got another one, so I can't be mad. Riley Green, Jordan Alvarez put together an insane season there.
But looking at the lineup, they've already made some adjustments. They brought in Jazz Chisholm. They brought in Dalton Rushing. Julio's still a 99, but I don't know how long he can hold that. And he's 30. He's 30 now. Now, the thing is, I'm going to try to make sure that he plays until he's 40. So there will be a point in time when I know I am going to be inherently ruining the Mariners' chances by keeping him around and playing him and making sure that nobody else can take his spot. But for now, they still can contend, and Julio is the guy that's going to do that. Now, they did bring up Miguel Campillo, who was a rookie that we drafted, and man, he was good. 351 in the things that he came up. Aiden Smith came up. Zinn obviously had another good year, but not as good as he had before. Harry Ford, and I think they sent down Bullington, which is so stupid. Like, it's dumb that they brought in Rushing, because Bullington won the World Series MVP. Anyways, we will sim the playoffs. Julio has 2 home runs, and the Mariners get eliminated anyways. So, the Diamondbacks defeat the Rangers in the 2031 World Series. Just a quick check on Julio then. He's at 454 career home runs, 17 or 1,800 hits, and a career WAR right now at the age 30 of 92.8. And we got 10 more years. I also just want to show quick. So Trout is 40. He's probably got like 1 year left in him. He's at 141 career WAR. Aaron Judge is 39. He probably has 1 year left in him. He is at a career WAR of 93. So this is kind of what we're trying to beat. Trout, Judge. Can he do better than them for the rest of his career? So I let one season go by because we did miss the playoffs. But this year we win the division, so I think it's kind of valuable to take a look at how this is going. Because once again, they're just a very dominant team. And while Julio is no longer an MVP candidate, he's still putting up very good seasons. Nick Lodolo wins a Cy Young this year, and we're still in a really good position because we still have really good players. You can see Julio led the league in doubles and slugging. So he's still doing very, very well. He is not topping them in hits, but he is still topping them in average. A lot of that is because he's getting a little bit of a like tic-tac, or knick-knack in... What's the word for that? I can't think of it. But like ticky-tacky injuries, like tiny little ones, and missing like a game or two every once in a while. But basically, taking a look at him right now, because he's the one that we value. He is regressing. You can see the lefties went up this season because he was hitting lefties well, but everything else is going down. His fielding is going down. I don't know how much longer he's a center fielder. He did cross the 500 home run threshold this season. He's over the 2,000 hit threshold this season, and he's 32. So we're still looking at several seasons. He's an 89. He's got plenty of time to continue to play. He's got 1 more year left on this deal. I'm going to make sure and force them to sign an extension till he's like 40, so that way he can't go anywhere. And he's still putting them 9. OPS seasons, 7.8 WAR. So he had this stretch right here of 4 seasons of 10 plus, then 3 straight seasons of 7 plus that look close to these. So he kind of had a crazy peak here and got lucky with that last MVP that he in a weaker season. But I mean, yeah, he's been phenomenal. That's another Silver Slugger, so he's up to 11 already. He's already up to 11 All-Stars. And he has 5 or 6 home run champions, 2 batting titles. He's still very, very good. Though I don't think he's the best player on this team anymore. And that's because they brought in Spencer Jones. They have Montez is now very good. Dalton Rushing is good. Floyd Zinn is still very good. Campillo is good. This team is actually pretty good all around. Cleveland Ward is now up. Tejada's up. They have Yon Duran as their closer. So it's a good team. Actually, Matt Brash is awful. But it's a very good team. And so we'll see what they do right here in the postseason, as we'll just sim round by round quick. They advance. They get past Oakland. And it looks like they make it to the World Series to play the Giants.
So in 2033, they have made it again. They are down 2-3. And they lose in the 2033 World Series to the Giants. So, 2 more seasons down. Basically, I just wanted to show he is regressing. He's still putting up really good seasons, though. So he's got a really good shot at continuing this. Now, the team around him is very, very good. So we'll see what they can do to potentially win another one. They obviously just made it to this World Series. But Julio's the guy. I think we're past the story of Julio now. He's still here. We're going to see what we can get. It's kind of like the late 2010s Miguel Cabrera is where we are. This team is still competitive. It's actually pretty good, but it's not because of him anymore. And so we'll see what they can do in continuing to build this team. And I'm going to make sure that they sign him to an extension as soon as possible. I don't know if I'll show you the next couple seasons. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. We're just going to kind of keep up with him. I'll probably show him when he crosses the 600 home run threshold, all that. It's 2039. He's washed up. You can see I took over in 2038. I finally retook control. They had moved him down in 2027 or 2037. So I retook control in 2038. I put him into a DH spot. I originally was going to try to switch his position to see if I could make some value there. He's a 65 overall. But I noticed that there's a problem with it where if you switch position, the WAR goes down as a total career. And as a 132 WAR guy, I want to keep him there. So he is over 2,000 RBIs. He's 1 home run away from 700. I think we should jump in and try to hit a home run in the Kingdome with him to get 700. And he's DH. So we will, I think we'll do that. We'll try to hit 700 with him. Get a home run number 700. We'll see if we can get him up to 3,000 hits. I am manually controlling him, putting him in the DH. I am tanking the Mariners shot, by the way. They have made it to the ALCS a couple times. They have not made it back to the World Series. They lose a lot. It's basically like win the division, lose in the wild card, win the wild card, go to the ALCS and lose. Since this era has started. Now, he put up a really good season last year, and I'm hoping that he can do the same. They still have a pretty decent team, but it's getting bad. The pitching's still very good. Calendar-wise, we've got home games. So we're going to jump into this Boston game in a player lock for Julio, and I'm going to see what I can do and see if we can get him home run number 700.
Keep an eye on here with him.
Here we are in the Kingdome, bottom of the first. And there it is! First pitch. Julio Rodriguez hits it up into the first deck. Career home run number 700 here in the Kingdome. As he gets it, Julio Rodriguez, probably one of the greatest players of all time. You love to see it. Just watch that go.
You can't help but think about the legends he's joining in the all-time record, which might possibly be in reach.
Boston's clapping. They're celebrating too. He hit 700. Tip of the cap from Julio. As he hit 700 here in the Kingdome. He thankfully only dropped 4 overall last season. Did get 26 home runs, putting him up to 725. So, it's crazy. This season he had played 99 games. He probably was on pace to hit another 40 home runs. He has been super consistent. We got 3,000 hits. We have 700 home runs. Now the question is, how long can he play? Can we get him to Bonds? Can we get him to Bonds? I don't know, but I'm going to force it. We're going to keep playing him into the DH spot. He's going to keep racking up WAR. I don't think he's going to get to Trout's WAR, but can we get him to Bonds home runs? This is what happens when you force feed a guy for season after season. He's 39. He somehow only went down to a 59 overall now. Maybe I should have put him in a DH role way earlier. Like if I would have took over here, we could approach 800 home runs with how good of a season with how good of an earlier career he had. Okay. Like I said, we're going for Bonds. So we need like 15. I don't remember how many. 15 more home runs probably. something like that. I think it's 62, or is it 60? Or did he get to 64? I can't remember. No, not league leaders. MLB records 62. We need 15 home runs this season. I don't know if he can do it. 762. I'm not lying. His overall is going up. He's going up. He's getting better. I've never seen a guy be able to perform this consistently for this long. Okay. Do we jump in? I think we jump in. We jump in and we try to break it. Let's go straight here. Play next game. Player lock. Julio Rodriguez. Let's break it. Let's break it. 763. 763, bad guy that definitely didn't do steroids because he has no speed left.
And now it's Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, that's a... Okay. Come on. Keep going. Off the wall. Actually, 39 speed's not that bad. He gets a double. I'm power swinging, by the way, just so you're aware. Nope, little blooper.
Not going to be enough.
So they get a man aboard with a one-out single.
Wasting no time.
And we're back. John Shabby with my buddy Chris Singleton and set to get us started.
With the pitch.
Julio Rodriguez. That
0-1.
one finds the zone.
Five-time MVP Julio Rodriguez going for home run number 763.
For a little under $2 million when Rodriguez was just sick.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Back there. This
Okay.
could be the one. And in one hops the wall. It's a double. Third hit of the night for him.
With another double in the bottom of the fifth. We're also in the Kingdome. I need it. I need it. Bases loaded. Grand slam, possibly?
One big swing of the bat from becoming Major League Baseball's all-time home run king. Strike one.
I check swung. I guess I went. Perfect. We hit it. 763. Julio Rodriguez breaks the home run record with the grand slam.
Close to this record. He's a once-in-a-lifetime player, and this is a moment baseball fans across the globe will never forget.
They might just build him his own wing at the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. A legend the likes of which the sport of baseball has never seen.
And even though the anticipation has been building for some time now, knowing that this day was going to come, it doesn't take away from
In the
moment
Kingdome.
one bit. An outpouring of emotion on the field. in
Where
the
you need it to
stands,
be.
And I'm sure from everyone watching
Against
at
the
home
Arizona
as well.
Diamondbacks.
Up there with
Julio
all of the
Rodriguez
sport's
breaks the home
greatest
run
achievements.
record.
DiMaggio's hit streak,
Tips the
Ripken's
cap.
consecutive games, you name it. This one might top them all.
As probably
The greatest player of all time.
like I said, his rating went up. And so just so you're aware of basically how this works, because I think a lot of people see guys regress hardcore. Andrew Monasterio right here is probably an example of this. When you continuously train contact and power and contact and power and then move them to DH, they don't necessarily get worse. So yeah, his fielding's still going down, but he's not fielding, so it can't go down anymore. He's just there. He's stuck. So he is 41 with good contact and power still. I still have 3 years left on this extension I gave him. We'll see what he can do. See what records he can break. I probably won't show you again till he retires. They missed the playoffs, so it's still a good team, but we'll see.
I feel like I made
Horrible promises. Why did I say I was going to wait till he retired? Why did I say I was going to have him play DH till he retired? It's 2051. He's still playing. Because this is absolutely ridiculous, I just want to show you. He's in the lineup. He is now a 61 overall. He's gone up.
He's in the lineup as the center fielder and DH. We're just going to sim the whole season. Autofix. Autofix. The only thing we have done at any point is have to adjust because the CPU is currently in control of trades and injury management and all that. But we have only had to adjust, like, okay, like now they don't have a pitching rotation. So, and also we have allowed them to become the worst team ever. Let's go call up that pitcher. Add to the 40-man. Move up to the MLB. Okay. So now they have a pitching rotation, lineup-wise. Julio still at center field and DH. Oh, I didn't check. Did I make it 27 players? No, we're good. That'll fix. No. This is what the simming looks like when I don't, like, when I'm not playing, when I'm attempting to just get to certain points. Okay. Now I have to fix this because they made a stupid trade. Yeah, you get to play that now. You can play DH, I guess. And you can come play left field. Perfect, whatever. No. Okay, we traded somebody. Now I gotta go fix that again. I kind of don't like that they're making trades. Like, stop it. Like, just let me build this horrible, horrible team. Okay. This has been kind of what it's been. Just me going in here, releasing a guy off the 40-man. They make a trade. I have to go do that. I have to fix that. I have to fix the rotation. Then in September, I have to do the call-ups and make sure the guys are up. I moved Julio to center field to hopefully, like, spark some regression in him to make him start regressing more. But he isn't. He's not. I mean, he still is, but okay. Boom, boom, boom. Like, I do not care about winning. I just want him to retire. And he won't. So they're not going to make the playoffs again. This is a 50-some win season. We're not going to sim. The Rockies defeat the Astros in the World Series. Advance to the offseason. Postseason. Offseason is about to begin. And he still doesn't retire. He's like Mini Minoso or Satchel Paige, but in the 2030s. I don't know if he's like, if he's been injected and turned into some sort of android in order to do this. These are guys that we drafted that were 18 that were supposed to never come up, and they're retiring. I don't know. So, okay. There's an element of this that is broken, okay? And that is that at some point, it stops counting back so far. We are going to just call it, okay? We're going to call it. Because it stopped counting. It started deleting his WAR, actually. We can no longer see the amazing 2027 season. He played until 2054 when I literally just cut him. I was like, retire, now, do it. He wouldn't. 5 MVPs. The rookie of the year is gone. Everything's gone. 5 MVPs. 2027's gone. They just delete the history at some point. Okay. I think we can understand. He was what? A 5-time MVP, 4-time Hank Aaron Award, 2 Triple Crowns. He had, if plus those, that would have been probably around 19 All-Stars.
about 10 Silver Sluggers, 6 home run champions, playoff MVP, 2 Gold Gloves. He broke the record for hits, RBIs, home runs, runs, everything. He ended with only like 135 WAR, but he had the 4 seasons where we showed where he had like the 15 WAR, 12, whatever. He had the greatest season of all time in 2027. And yeah, played till he was 55. Okay. So let's just take a moment. All right. Just to break the immersion a little bit. I'm never going to do this again. We found a way to break the game, and now we know never to do that again. So from future references, we know that at some point you need to make sure the guy retires, to make sure he stops playing. You could technically put him in a DH and run him forever because it just works like that. Now, we can also go back and consider what he was before we started breaking it. He was in the 600 home run club. He was around, he got to 3,000 hits, etc., etc. Basically, he would have still been considered one of the greatest players of all time. Around 100 and some WAR, pretty much where we showed you when we took over in 2038. And when we took over in 2038, we broke it. We broke the game. We switched him to a DH. We threw the training program on him to make sure he was getting contact and power. And then I just stuck him there forever and would not let him not play. And that's how you get a guy to play 25,000 innings. Mini Minoso level stuff. So to kind of go back and tell the story of what this Mariners team was, they were led by Julio. They finally got over the hump. They beat the Yankees in the ALCS and they won the World Series in 2030. And then Julio, for the next several seasons, went on to become one of the greatest players of all time, hitting over 600 home runs, not 1,000. I'm not counting that. Over 3,000 hits and have over 130 WAR for his career. That'll probably be the end here. I can't keep going. And apparently now, glad that I checked that because I would have kept going, waiting for him to retire. He might have not made the Hall of Fame because he might have taken so long that it would just delete his stats. So that's it for Julio Rodriguez and our Seattle Mariners DORKTOWN Rebuild. I hope that you liked the little storytelling elements that we put in here and the absolute nonsense when we broke this. So yeah, this took like 3 days to film because of how long the sim took. So yeah. Adios.